All right, good evening to y'all. It is time for the Drive the State show. It is that time as we continue on in the playoffs here. It is hard to believe it's already round 2 of the playoffs here, and the chat's already firing away. Good evening, Joshua Wilson here, your delightful founder and publisher of FHSFootball.com. And yes, to the far right over there is Christopher Lyke, associate editor. Christopher Lyke, my inspiration there. And then we got Reno there, sitting there, the co-host there. We got the excitement here. It is the Drive the State show, and everybody is here. I mean, we are already up. Mark Cannon, good evening to you. Chris was actually mentioning here before we went on that it wasn't just us last week that had the YouTube issues. It was multiple streamers that actually had YouTube issues for quite a few days. So it looks like YouTube's got everything fixed here. So I'm knocking on wood on that one there. So, so
you know what that means, Josh?
Yes.
If they haven't liked and subscribed, like and subscribe.
There you go. Hit that subscribe button on the YouTube channel and let us know where you're watching us from tonight. Again, we got a lot to go over with the playoff bracket here, the playoff brackets, because some interesting results. I can tell you this: the one thing that did not happen, an 8 upsetting a 1. How about that? An 8 upsetting a 1. We did not have that at all this year. So. That is huge. And Ellis Hall, good evening to you. Action, he is like, again, there's Reno. He's on the chat too. So go settle, go Niceville. Well, yeah, you're nice.
Already.
Your Niceville Eagles got my Middleburg Broncos. So, and there you go. 2 claps or 3 claps for a Ric Flair. All right. Good evening to everybody. And you know what, Reno, when we went through our picks last week, I have them all sitting right here, all written down.
Oh, that's a lot of writing right there. That was a lot of picks.
A lot of picks indeed. Governor Williams, like I said before, Pace Patriots 6A lock, and then Lake Mary Rams. Let's go. Yes, we'll talk about Lake Mary and all that here. So we're going to do it a little fun tonight here. We're going to make the picks here, but fewer games. Hey, we have half the field, basically, as they say, with the number of games here and that we're going to have this week. But, gentlemen, what do you got your thoughts here before we get into this? I'll start with Chris first, and Reno, I'll have you chime in. Looking at what we had happen this past week here in the first round of the playoffs.
You know, I think it's you expect the unexpected sometimes, and you got some of those in the first round matchup in the lower classes. So yeah, so it's going to be very interesting to see how this week we're going to a lot more better matchups. So it's going to be a lot more fun to watch.
No, absolutely. And Reno, go ahead and chime in here as we got a couple more comments that are popping up in the chat already here.
No, we already had some really good games last week, and like you said, there was no big upsets of 8-1. But now we're getting into the games this week where we're looking at 3s and 4s, 2s and 4s, 1s and 3s. So it's going to be some really good matchups to talk about as we roll along into this week's picks.
No, absolutely. Emery Smith, there's Emery Smith right there, and he's like, let's see what you have in store for tonight's show. Always enjoy listening to y'all, and we'll continue to do so. Despite my team I'm sorry about your Hardy Wildcats, Emery. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. And Tom Craig Bailey's like, go Union County Tigers, and they'll be having a big matchup. We'll be getting here, and that's the moment here. And Chubb Nelson, Gaston County Jaguars, playing the Rural Fit class. Yes, we will talk about the Rural Fit class in a moment, Tom. And then William Hankerson chiming in. Bradford gets the revenge. Shots are already being fired. And Ellis Hall saying, he's bringing up this, and we'll talk about that
already, man. Good energy in the chat with picks tonight already. Wow.
Yeah, and even this, even coming from X /Twitter.
Nice.
Wow. Oh, I want to take that comment down. I'm sorry, I did not see the thing because it blocked it from the comment on me seeing it in the chat here. But no profanity, please, on the show or in the chat, please. Yeah. No profanity. Sorry, but that might automatically get you not being shown on the hitting the wrong button. I'm trying to kick him out of the chat if I can. Because that's not acceptable there. And I apologize to everybody there, but yes. Here we go. All right. Let's go ahead and roll this here. we're going to roll this into the show here and talk about the first of the brackets here. We're getting into the top half of the World Invitational bracket. And as Tom Greg Bailey asked, what is the World Fit class? So the World, this is the Florida Invitational Tournament, as they call it. It's basically like NIT for basketball, except it's just football instead. So that's pretty much what it is. These teams, the 12 teams, were basically invited to continue their season into for another week or two. 4 teams got a first round bye. As you see here, the 4 teams that did get a first round bye were Baker, Jefferson County, Port St. Joe, Franklin County. Those are the 4 teams that got a bye here. And as we go through this here, our results from last week: Trenton beat Sneads 28-26, and we had Sneads on that one, Reno, and that was
I said we should have picked local, but you're right. We went with Sneads.
I know, you're right, and it was a close ball game there. And then, of course, on this top half of the bracket, you see the 5-12 matchup: Dixie County beating Weehawken 29-6. And as you can see here, the matchup setting up for this week: Baker and Trenton. Trenton will be at Baker, and Dixie County will be on the road at Jefferson County. So, gentlemen, let's start this off. Looking at these games and looking at the results so far here in this top half of the bracket, where do we start out with in terms of what with Trenton and Baker? I mean, this is going to be a long road trip here out to the Panhandle, time zone change. But Baker wishes they were in the state championship bracket. I thought they were going to make it, but I think they have a chance to run this thing and take at least the FIT title this year. What are you thinking? Start with Chris here.
Baker is looking really good. They got a good defense, and I do think Baker should be at least going through these first 3 or 4 matchups. So they should be a really well-rounded team there.
Oh, all right, Reno. What about you? Let's see what we got here.
No, you said it right. When you say they have a chance to run through this bracket, it's that running game and all those rushing yards they average per game that's going to make them just blow through Trenton and all the way through the end of this. Probably, you're right. It's the running game with Baker.
No, absolutely. And as we got a couple more comments, I'm going to pop in here. Matt DeBuck, head coach of the Cardinal Gibbons Chiefs. They're on to the next round. We'll talk about them coming up in Class 2A. And Florida High coming for it all in Class 2A Region 1. Wow, the comments are really firing off tonight here in the chat, guys. Nully, hey, there's our friend Nully. We're glad to see you on. Good evening to you, Nully. Good evening to you. Yes, indeed. So, with that said, my pick is Baker as well. I feel like they can run this table here, and that's what I'm feeling like here. And Trenton, thanks for playing in this one here, in my opinion here. But all right, for the next matchup in this top half of the bracket, Jefferson County, Dixie County. This one I think is going to be pretty interesting. I kind of like what Rick Whittington's been doing, kind of getting those guys kind of building up here. And I feel like maybe for Jefferson County, this off week kind of maybe for me, I feel like this might come back to bite Jefferson County here, because Dixie County, I think they may be finding like their peak here, and they're glad that they were able to continue their season for at least another week here. So, Reno, I'm going to go to you this time. Let's go.
This is one of those hard ones to choose because they're both pretty even on the stats when it comes to rush and passing. So I think it's going to be a well-called game both ways. But I still think home field advantage matters on this one. So I'm going to go with Jefferson.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay, so Reno is going Jefferson here. All right.
Yeah, Jefferson. I like Jefferson, too. They got a really good defense. I think the defense is going to be the big difference in this game. So Jefferson County.
No, absolutely. And I hear what y'all saying, but my pick, I'm going Dixie County. So I'm I'm going opposite here. And Coach Robert Ron says he says Baker versus Dixie County. He's thinking that for that state semifinal for the right to go into that FIT tournament championship bracket. And Joe Settle thinks Dixie County will win. And Tom Greg Bailey saying going Dixie County over Jefferson County. So kind of a split there going on in the chat so far. Remember, y'all can participate in the picks here. We'll pop them up as we go through them here tonight here on the show here. So let's roll along with it here with the bracket here. Let's get into, see if I can get I'm having a little trouble with the slides here. Come on, let's go. Work with me. There we go. Didn't go too far. There we go. It's being a little stubborn with me tonight. So hopefully it'll get trying to get back to there we go. All right, let me go ahead and make sure that's going. All right, there we go. Let's go into this here with what we got here. The 2 seed Port St. Joe hosting number 7 Wildwood. Wildwood rolling 54-18 over Hamilton County. And then, of course, on the other side of that, you got Franklin County and Fort Meade. Franklin County hosting Fort Meade after Fort Meade beat Pearson Taylor 42-0. So, Chris, let's go to you here on this one. What are you thinking here? Wildwood or Port St. Joe? I mean, it's going to be a long road trip for those Wildcats.
Yeah, it's going to be a long road trip. It's going to be a very interesting thing for Wildwood. I think Wildwood got the edge as far as the offense goes, but Port St. Joe at home, and it's been such an emotional season for them. I think Port St. Joe is going to win this game.
All right. So you hear from Christopher taking Port St. Joe, Reno. Where are you going with this one?
You know, Wildwood's defense has been very susceptible at times this year. And I don't think the Hamilton County matchup was really a test for them in the first round. I think this is going to see their very first test, especially with Port St. Joe averaging 205 rushing yards a game. They're just going to wear you down if that defense isn't ready. So I'm going with Port St. Joe on this one.
Yeah, and I'm rolling with Port St. Joe, and I'm going to echo behind Chris on what I said. It's been an emotional season for them here this year for the Tiger Sharks, and I feel like that's just only going to lead into this and it's going to feed into that, and they'll advance onto the state semifinal round for the FIT bracket in this one. And of course, we've got a couple of comments popping up here, and Joe Settle's going Port St. Joe and Fort Meade, and I'll bring up Coach Ron's thing here in a moment here when we talk about Hawthorne, and but Coach Ron saying PSJ big 34-6, and Tom Greg Bailey thinks Wildwood wins. So let's roll into the next one here. Fort Meade at Franklin County. Reno, where are you feeling like this is going to go? Because Franklin County, this is actually one of their best seasons since the schools Apalachicola and Carabel emerged years ago. This is probably their best season that they have had as a school, as a one county school.
And this is one of those sneaky games, right? That 3-7 with Fort Meade really doesn't do justice for what they're doing here at the end of the season and how they're rolling along. But I do feel that Franklin will have the edge here, and Franklin County continues on.
No, absolutely. All right. And then, Chris, where are you going with this one?
I really like Franklin County. Eric Smith, he's a good player on both sides of the ball for them. Yeah, Franklin County, they should be an easy win at home.
No, absolutely. I think I'm going with Franklin County as well. I believe that the long road trip is going to impact Fort Meade too. Fort Meade, they've been susceptible this year, and it's the new coaching staff. They're trying to still get their fingerprints all on their team, and honestly, I mean, it was a good win for them to get past Pearson Taylor, but honestly, I feel like this is just a situation that Franklin County rolls here. And Tom Greg Bailey going Franklin County. Wade Domlin thinks Wildwood versus Fort Meade. Ooh, I like okay. And Nolly, I knew Nolly's gonna go to Polk County homerism here, so I get that. He's going Fort Meade here, and John Cooper says rat poison, fellas. Fort Meade is really good. Tough one. And that's the head coach, by the way, at Franklin County chiming in. So there you go.
I said it's a sneak. I said it was a sneak game.
Yeah. Love y'all's coverage. I appreciate you, Coach. And Coach Ron says Franklin County keeps great season going closer than our Australia's expert. Woo! It is never a dull moment here on this show here. I appreciate y'all. So absolutely. No, absolutely. Let's roll along with this here to our next part of the bracket here. If I can get the there. Oh, it's of course it goes 3 slides. It's being very touchy tonight. So very sensitive, I should say. Come on, back to the 3rd slide. There we go. All right. Back to let's go with the state championship bracket, the top half of this bracket. All right, here we go. Hawthorne 56-0 over Branford. Lafayette beats Cottondale 43-42, which I said, Reno, last week that was going to be a close one between Lafayette and Cottondale. And
it was close.
That was probably the closest of all of the games in the Royal classification here. Obviously, you see that A 13 seed beat the number 4 seed Williston 10-0 over Chiefland. That was a big one right there. And Fort Meade 23-2 over Jay, which I felt like that Jay's schedule was susceptible right there, and sure enough, it showed right there. Fort White getting Jay right there. So matchups are this week. We got Lafayette at Hawthorne, and then we have Fort White hosting Williston here. So, I mean, let's go with this one. Honestly, I feel like this 9-1 matchup, honestly, I feel like this is one that it's Hawthorne's game to lose, in my opinion. So, but how are y'all feeling? I'll start with Chris on this one.
Yeah, I like Hawthorne as well at home. I don't think there's not going to be much of a challenge in this game, so I think Hawthorne should easily take and win it.
No, I agree with you on that one. Reno, where are you thinking on this one?
Yeah, it's going to be home field's advantage to lose all the way through. Hawthorne, if they don't come out and are focused, Lafayette can slip right by. But right now, it's Hawthorne with the win.
No, all right, absolutely. By the way, I saw this comment from Emery Smith. He said Fort Meade made only 3 wins, but I would pick Fort Meade. So he thinks the wrong road trip there on that one. So, and the coach Ron going Hawthorne by 40. Mark Cannon can't believe Chiefland was shut out. Travis Banta says Hawthorne. Tom Greg Bailey says Hawthorne over Mayo. Williston over Fort White. William Hickerson going Hawthorne. Williston versus Union County in the state championship. Ooh, that's a possibility. That could very much happen here. So we'll see what happens here. But the state semifinals will actually for next week. Next week, the state semifinals will actually get recalculated. The teams that are left will get recalculated by the Max Preps rankings on FHSAA, and then they will be reseeded. So there'll be another calculation run of rankings ran here just for the world class this coming week after these games are played here. And Nully is going Hawthorne and Williston. Joe Settle's already putting his picks in for the games here. Hawthorne, Williston, Madison, and Union. So, all right, the next game on the list, Fort White hosting Williston. Boy, Williston, that 10-0 shutout. That is, honestly, that's probably the biggest eye catcher right there in terms of this entire rural bracket.
That's equivalent to a 1-8 loss there almost. So,
yeah. So, Reno, what are you going with Williston and Fort White?
This is in our backyard. These are 2 teams that have really one's been around for a while. Fort White's kind of showed out and made a name for themselves. But there's just nothing like a Red Devil and wanting to move forward. So he takes this from the Indians and keeps moving.
No, and Chris, where are you going with this one as well?
I like Williston in this one. Shout out to Jamari Williams. He got 1,000 rushing yards on the season as of last week. I like Williston to win on the road.
No, absolutely. And I'm going Williston on the road as well because I feel like Robbie Pruitt, he's got something in his bag of tricks. He had something in there for the bag of tricks for Chiefland after that, getting that revenge on week 1. I feel like here they're going to have another bag of tricks here for Fort White, and it's keep the Indians at home and end their season and shut the door on it on the way out of town. And Williston will roll on into a state semifinal game, I believe, as well. And I like what Williston is doing here. And so with that said, we're all on the Williston train here for this coming week here. And so let's move it along here to what we got here and hopefully the bottom half of the bracket here. So let me see if it's just going to respond to me or not. There we go. All right. It's being really sensitive tonight with the PowerPoint, so that's the way the screen is working. But Coach Ron says Williston over Fort White. So in the ugly, he's calling for an ugly game. Ooh, man, oh man. We'll see what happens here. All right, so we have, Moorhaven falls to Madison County 51-13 in that 2-15 matchup. We see that 7-10 matchups, Bluntstown rolling all over Scylla Christian 62-17. I feel like that we kind of hit the nail on the head, Reno, last week, that Scylla Christian schedule was just awfully weak. I think, Chris, we talked about it as well on Drive the State show, but when the brackets came out, just because I felt like Scylla Christian's 10-0 record was kind of misleading in a way of just how good they were really actually are, and Bluntstown showed it. And of course, Union County rolling over Holmes County 42-12. Pahokee Oh, boy, Chipley, that long road trip out from the Panhandle in that 6-11 matchup, Pahokee rolls 42-0. So this sets up Bluntstown at Madison County, Pahokee at Union County. So, Reno, let's go with this one. Bluntstown at Madison. What are you feeling here?
Well, with this one, Madison County is just going to stomp the Tigers and run away with this. So it's them all the way. It's just the way they've been playing, the way we're going to move forward. I think it's a solid pick.
No, absolutely here. And Chris, where are you going with this one here?
I don't like Madison County. I'd look for Jason McDaniel to have a very big game on the ground for Madison County. Madison County's going to roll in this game.
All right. Well, Madison County it is for all three of us in the picks tonight here. And I'm going to tell you what the chat is rolling here already here. We got Mark Cannon asking about how good is Pahokee this year. Well, Matt ask that. Pahokee, they're looking pretty solid here, Mark, especially after the rolling that with Chipley there. And Pahokee posted the goose egg, as Rita says there in the chat. Move along, Madison County, and well, we'll see if Madison Union match up in the state semifinals. Remember, it's going to be recalculated here, so there's a possibility that they may not match up, but we'll find out here. And Noli says Madison and Pahokee. William Hankerson's going Madison. Tom Greg Bailey, Union County over Pahokee. Madison County over Bluntstown. Ellis Hall's taking Madison and Union, and Winston James, Madison County and Union County. Wow. Oh, the chat is just really firing off. Hey, I appreciate it.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. I love it. I love it here. And whoever put a laughing emoji on Facebook, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on here. But anyways, let's roll on to that. So we got that. We have Madison County and Bluntstown, and we got the Union County Pahokee game. Big matchup in Lyke Butler Friday night here. And boy, oh boy, it's a Tigers versus the Blue Devils. And honestly, Chris, where are you going to go with this one with the Blue Devils coming from the muck all the way up to Union County, where there's only a couple, like 3 stoplights in the entire town? Oh, say what, Chris?
Yeah, this one's going to be very interesting. I think this one's going to be very interesting, much closer than people think. I'm going Pahokee on this one.
Ooh, Pahokee. All right. Going with the Blue Devils here. Reno, where are we going with this one?
I think Chris was right with it going to be a close one. I think this is going to be lower scoring than what people are thinking. But I don't think the muck will stand in the way of Union County. I'm going Union County to move forward.
I'm going with Andrew Thomason's crew. They're looking better here, especially after doing what they did to Holmes County, who had to make the trip from the Panhandle. And the chat is already firing off, but Pahokee is good, but not champ. Long trip ready. But Winston James saying that. Travis Banta is saying this. I think this is Madison County State Championship to lose. Oh, so we're going not Hawthorne in this situation here. I can tell that, and it's William Hankerson going Union County. Sean Robbie saying Pahokee beat Union County and the refs. We're going to go call it the refs. So you think the refs are going to be trying to decide the game? Be careful there. Be careful there. Tony Manners says doing better. Came home the next day and only had a concussion. The quarterback. Yes, about the Holmes County quarterback. He did get hurt. So good to know. Thank you, Tony, for giving us an update on the Holmes County quarterback. He was injured in the game here. Oh, Mark Cannon with the super sticker, $5 in the house. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mark. We appreciate that super sticker joining in there. Yes, in honor of Chris's Pahokee pick. There you go. Anthony Rivers going Pahokee and Tom Greg Bailey. 4 stoplights on the. 4. All right, I was off by 1. I remember. I think I was miscounting there. So yes. So
now we have a new island. We have the Chris Island, and they have the Reno Island, and and now we're all separate.
No, absolutely here. All right, let's look at Class 1A here. Let's see if I can get the. All right, there we go. Class 1A, Region 1, the bracket. Let's take a look at this here. Man, how about this? If you notice something weird on this bracket, yes, you see there is a 1F. There was a forfeit. You don't ever see that in the playoffs. But PK Young forfeited. We were on last Tuesday night, and PK Young forfeited to Trinity Christian because they didn't have enough players. That's what the story has been told, but I know that leaves a lot of speculation out there, including, did they really just not want to play Trinity Christian? Because, we know the history of Trinity Christian over the years here in Florida. But regardless of that, Providence took care of Trinity Catholic 26-7, University Christian over Impact 33-12. Of course, you get the forfeit right there. And then McClay edging out by 1 over St. John Paul II, which sets up University Christian at Providence and a rematch there, and then McClay going to Trinity Christian. So let's start with this rematch between Providence and University Christian, where it was a high-scoring barn-burner game in just a few weeks ago. Do you think University Christian has it in him again to beat Providence one more time this year? Reno, let's start with you.
No, they don't, because now it matters. Last time they could lose and still have a chance. Now there's win or go home. So it's Providence all the way.
Wow. All right. Chris, where are you going with this one?
It's tough to beat a team twice in 1 year. I think Providence gets the edge on this one.
Providence kind of had a few shaky moments towards the end of the season here about getting Trinity Catholic taking care of them. I think now that's got them back on the winning side of this. And honestly, I'm telling you, I'm going with Providence as well here to not have what happened just a few weeks ago slip up again. All right, in the 2-3 matchup, you got McClay McClay at Trinity Christian. Trinity Conquerors obviously didn't get their home game last week. I think there is the penalty is that PK Young is also responsible for paying part of the gate that Trinity Christian would have owed in terms of forfeiting, because that is a loss of gate right there. I have to go back and look at the rules at some point, but I know there's a rule dealing with playoff game forfeitures and what is due to the host school. So Trinity Christian now finally getting on the field after being off unexpectedly last week, and they're hosting McClay. And McClay, they've had to play Trinity Christian before in the playoffs, but it's not been pretty in a lot of those times. And Trinity Christian, they're not the same type of Trinity Christian they've been over the last few years. A much younger Trinity Christian. And Christopher, where are we going to go with this one?
I like Trinity Christian to win this game. George Grant, a good player for Trinity Christian there. He's about almost to the 2,400 yard mark on passing. I like Trinity Christian at home.
Oh, all right. Reno, where are we going with this one? Conquerors or Marauders?
Well, everybody get your rowboat ready, because you're going to be rowing out to my little island, because I'm taking McClay on the road for the upset to take down the Giant.
Okay. All right. Wow. Okay. Is Trinity Christian coach retiring at the end of the season? I don't know, but I can tell you that Trinity Catholic's coach resigned yesterday. So John Brantley III stepping down. So there's that one right there for you. So maybe you're hearing Trinity, but Trinity Catholic, not Trinity Christian. But we'll see what happens here. Of course, Verlin Dormany has been there since the early 90s. And honestly, he's the dean of coaches in Duval County, regardless of public or private schools. And you got Zachary Holbach going Providence in that game. Emory Williams just says very crazy they forfeited that game due to not having enough players. I think they would have lost the Trinity. Yeah, I feel like that would have been the case here. And Trinity Christian for William Hankerson, and Mark Cannon is saying, play that Reno Island music. Oh, this is so much fun here. All right, let's roll along here to our Region 2 bracket here, where we see Clearwater Central Catholic roll the Holy Trinity 64-14, Carrollwood Day rolling Victory Christian 42-18, Lakeland Christian 44-7 over Crescent City, and Orlando Christian Prep edging out Melbourne Central Catholic, I believe, in overtime 35-34. How about that for those? Yeah. I mean, the Melbourne Central Catholic result for me was the most surprising. I did not think OCP had it to do it, but sure enough, here they are here. And as I bring up other picks from Coach Ron Nolly and Jabari Green going with Trinity Christian here. So our matchup here for Region 2, we got Carrollwood Day at CCC, and then we got OCP going down I-4 to Lakeland Christian. Gentlemen, let's start this. CCC, Carrollwood Day. Reno, take it away on this one. Which way are you going?
CCC.
Wow. No question asked.
No question asked here. I think they've got a very good strength of schedule. They're bringing them where they are. That's why they're number one, and they're going to keep proving it.
No, absolutely. Here, and Chris, where are you going with this one?
CCC got way too much defense. Gregory Thomas, 14 sacks on the year. He's going to be a sack monster again in this game. So I think Clearwater Central Catholic is going to roll.
No, and absolutely. And I want to pull up something here from Coach Kraus, who's one of the assistant coaches at CCC. And let's see. I'm trying to. This was Deshaun Newton. I believe he set the record against Holy Trinity last week in Pinellas County with the most passing yards in Pinellas County, and then of course the most total touchdowns in a career. So talk about that right there. And I feel like he's just only going to extend it. So my pick is CCC here in this situation. What Zachary Holbach thinks Carrollwood Day is going to take it. Coach Ron is like CCC versus Lakeland Christian, easy choices. And Nolly is going CCC, Lakeland Christian, not because they're from Lakeland. Oh, okay. But Lakeland Christian OCP guys, let me start off with this one here. Chris, go with what you're thinking here on this one. Lakeland Christian hosting OCP.
Lakeland Christian, too good of a team right now. They should be in that Final Four, maybe, depending on if they can get through this bracket. I wouldn't be surprised if they get through this bracket.
Well,
Lakeland Christian will win it.
No, absolutely. Reno, where are you going with this one?
I mean, we all know we need a little bit of luck on Friday nights. And OCP got that luck last week, but I don't think the fairy dust carries on because Lakeland is just too strong. So Lakeland Christian to carry forward.
No, absolutely. I feel like Lakeland Christian will carry this one as well. The magic ends for OCP right there in that one. And Tom Greg Bailey, you say no public schools in 1A. That is actually not correct because Crescent City is a public school, one or two public schools in the entire 1A classification. So Crescent City Public School got knocked out by Lakeland Christian here. So, we need to have a playoffs just for Polk County schools. Wow. Tom Greg Bailey says. Wow. The Fighting Kate Denhoff. And Zachary Holbach's going Lakeland Christian here. All right, so let's go into our next one here with Region 3 here. Gentlemen, let's see. This one was just rollover city for the top four seeds here. Cardinal Newman 51-0. Community School 63-14. First Baptist 41-12. Benjamin 42-0. Sets up Community School Naples going to Cardinal Newman in that 1-4 matchup, and then First Baptist hosting Benjamin in the 2-3 matchup. I'll start with this on Cardinal Newman here. I feel like it's community school. Thank you for playing, but Cardinal Newman is a whole nother different planet. Guys, do you agree with me or not on this one? Let's start. Reno, go. Take it away.
Yeah. This is another no-brainer here. It's going to be Cardinal Newman, and we're just waiting for that next round to have that game. That's what, because we all see what the next game's going to be, and we all want it.
No, absolutely. Chris, where are you going with this?
Cardinal Newman way too good in this matchup. Cardinal Newman to keep on rolling.
No, absolutely. And Emory Williams says, I think CC versus Lakeland Christian is talking about Region 2 there. Lakeland Christian is ranked ahead of Carrollwood Day despite losing to them, but I believe they're only lost and they have a tougher strength of schedule, explains that. And then Coach Ron's going Cardinal Newman versus Benjamin, and so is Winston James here. So let's talk about the other game on the other side here. First Baptist versus Benjamin. All right, so this one could be very, very interesting, very, very tough. Benjamin, that 5-5 record, you look at the 5 losses, they come to some very, very competitive teams, including one Cardinal Newman there in that situation right there as a 2-team district in District 1A12. But First Baptist, they have been at least to the state semifinals the last 2 years, been a state champion 2 years ago. First Baptist is trying to figure out a path to get back there, but the brackets are not in their favor, in my opinion. But right now, they're still in it. Got to play Benjamin. Chris, where are you going to go with this one? I feel like this is going to be, in my opinion, a tight matchup.
Yeah, I think this is going to be one of the closer and more entertaining matchups in the coming weekend. I like Benjamin to roll on this one.
Benjamin Buccaneers to roll in this one. Wow. All right. Reno, where are you going here with this?
Raise the flags. We're going with the Buccaneers on this one. I think, like
Ooh.
you said, that strength of schedule is what's going to keep charging them along here.
And you know what? Y'all are convincing me to go with Benjamin, but my gut says to go with the home team, and I'm taking First Baptist here. But this is going to be a close one. It's not going to be a runaway for either team. And as I said, Zachary Holbach says Cardinal Newman upset over community. Oh, you think community school is going to up? Oh, okay. And then First Baptist win over Benjamin. All right. Okay. All right, let's roll along to our Region 4 bracket in Class 1A. Obviously, looking at this, we've got St. John Paul II that fell to Chaminade Madonna 63-0. St. Andrews 31-20. True North rolls Palmer Trinity 42-0. Miami Edison does the same to Somerset Academy 42-0. As you see, mostly blowouts in the first round here in the brackets, but the top 4 seeds are on, which means St. Andrews is going to be at Chaminade Madonna this week, and True North is going to host Edison. And I'll tell you what, this is going to be an interesting. I feel like there's a matchup brewing here for the regional finals. But I will start with this. Let's go with St. Andrews and Chaminade Madonna. I'm just gonna tell you right now, it's Chaminade Madonna, no one else right now in this particular game. But let's go here. What do you guys got on your thought? Chris, go with.
I think Chaminade Madonna is going to roll in this thing. It's not even going to be close. This should be over by midway through the second quarter.
Reno?
Yep, it's going to be Madonna all the way.
Chaminade Madonna all the way. So now in this one, you got Miami Edison, True North. This will be more likely a 3:30. Mark Geddes, who is this Chaminade Madonna? And Noah's going Chaminade Edison and like a virgin version. we got music lyrics going.
Oh man.
All right, we got the Madonna reference versus Uncle Luke there. So I mean that's what we got the reference here. But True North, Miami Edison, True North hosting Edison. True North. This game's most likely going to be a 3 or 3:30 kickoff. So this could be interesting here, but I honestly, you got Uncle Luke going up here against True North. But let's start with Reno on this one. Where are you going here?
Yeah, this is probably the most interesting game in the bracket. It's going to be the biggest matchup that we're going to have on this one, in my opinion. But I think it's going to be home team. So True North, I think, will prevail on this one, especially if the early kickoff.
Okay. Not so fast, Reno. I think
there it is.
Win next game.
Man, oh man. Y'all are. I mean, ooh, yeah. A 3:30 kickoff time. Greg Bailey is asking. Yep, it will be a 3:30 because where they play at, they have no lights, so they have to get the game in early in the afternoon. So, I gotta go with 2 live provers in this situation with Uncle Luke. So I gotta roll Edison here on this one. So that's where I'm rolling with it. So Miami Edison for the win. All right, guys. I know we need a water break. Let's take a water break here real quick for 2 minutes, and then we've got 2A, 3A, 4A coming up, and then we'll do 5A, 6, and 7 after that. So we'll take first of 2 water breaks here tonight, and then we'll come back and we will we'll go talking Class 2A, 3A, and 4A. We'll be right back here on the Drive the State show here on 40. Hey, you got your drinks out. There you go. All right. We'll be back here in 2 minutes here on the Drive the State show here on 4HSFootball.com. All right, welcome back here to the Drive the State show here on FortHSFootball.com, and got Reno there, got Christopher Lyke there joining us here on the show here. We got everybody here in the house, and boy, we're already through 1A. We're through the rural bracket, which is in 2 brackets right there, and then we're through the 1A bracket as well. And of course, the number of games is been reduced down to half what the teams we started with. So we're already rolling here. And with that said, we're going to get into that 2A bracket here, and let's take a look at that. How about this? One of the big surprises this past week, Walton upsetting Pensacola Catholic 28-24. That was one of the games that we spotlighted as in top games to watch, and Pensacola Catholic totally stomped all over Walton in the regular season, but Walton said, "Not so fast, my friend." And they went into Pensacola Catholic and pulled off that 4-point victory, and Walton's on marching on the playoffs at a 28-24 victory. Gadsden County took care of Baldwin 48-7. Bowles rolled over Taylor County 49-0. And Florida High took care of Mariana 28-7. So that sets up Florida High at Gadsden County this weekend, and Bowles hosting Walton. So, gentlemen, let's start with Chris. Where are you going with this one, Florida High, Gadsden County?
Well, I like Florida High, and I like Gadsden County. This is going to be a much closer game than people think it's going to be. I think Gadsden County edges the game out.
Wow, Gadsden County for the victory. All right, Reno, where are you going with this one? Gadsden County or Florida High? This is a rematch from the district from a few weeks ago.
Yeah, no, I think that both teams know each other really well, so strategies are going to change a little bit. But I have a gut feeling of Gadsden County, and I'm going to stick with it.
All right, Gadsden County all the way for all of us, because I am sticking with Gadsden County here, and I know Florida High has made some deep runs here over the years and played for some play for some state titles here over the last 4 or 5 years, but Gadsden County is just too good this year, in my opinion, and here we go. Walton pulls off another upset this week of Bowles. We're going to talk about Walton here in a moment here, and William Hankerson's going Florida High and Bowles for the win. So let's roll with that. Let's talk about this. Bowles hosting Walton Friday night in the 3-7 matchup here. And Reno, I already know who you're going to pick here. But just go ahead and tell everybody, because I know the story now already, so I know why you're going to make this pick. So, but go ahead and roll with it.
Newberry, Bowles, 1999, had our chance to go to state championship, and they just happened to throw the stupid Hail Mary and catch it, and they whipped us to go to state. So I will never choose Bowles. I'm sorry to all the coaches out there. I will never choose Bowles. So. Huge upset on my island, Walton, this weekend.
Wow! All right, Chris.
Oh boy,
Chris is smiling over there. He's getting a good laugh out of this. I can tell.
Oh man, I like Walton's offense. They've done a very good job so far this year. Give me Bowles just to edge it out.
Wow, Bowles. I'm going with Bowles as well. I feel like the wrong road trip for Walton is going to they may play close early on, but I feel like Bowles will pull away late here. And whereas Ryan Hardy's going with Bowles by a lot. Reno says, Reno can hold the ground. Ellis Hall's going woof woof. He's going for the Bowles Bulldogs there. And Reno's like, you're dang right. Oh, this is so much fun here doing this. It really is. All right, let's go to our side. Region 2 bracket in 2A. All right, as you see it was pretty much no contest in a couple of games. Lake Placid blowing out like Cocoa 63-0. Berkeley Prep hangs on another week to try to defend the state championship from last season, 22-15 over Calvary Christian. Bradford 35-0 over the Villages in Newberry, 24-7 over Palaca, which now sets up Berkeley Prep and Cocoa, 2 defending state champions, playing this week. So somebody is not going to be continuing their season on after this week in terms of defending a state championship. And then Bradford will be hosting Newberry in the 2-3 matchup. So, gentlemen, I am going to start with Chris on this one. Cocoa, Berkeley, who are you thinking is going to win this one?
Coco's got way too much offense for Berkeley. I think this game's going to be a track meet, to be honest with you. And I like Coco at home.
All right, Coco at home. Reno, where are you going? Are we sticking to our island? Or are we going to Reno Island?
No, we're coming back to the main story here because Coco they can just run away with this game, as Chris said, and I don't think Berkeley's defense is going to be able to keep up on this one, unfortunately. So Coco all the way.
And I'm Coco all the way as well. I don't think yeah, go ahead.
And thank you, Emery. You'll see it in a minute, but thank you, Emery. I just want to say it out loud.
No, go ahead here. Many in here, Hardy, probably feel the same way. Reno Bulls because in the state. There you go. Yes, they did. They did do that. And Emery Williams Smith says, here we go. He says, not surprised one bit by Coco versus Lake Placid score. Feel bad for the Green Dragons having to travel up to Coco just to get blown out by a team like Coco. Well, remember during the regular season, we were talking about potentially Bradford going all the way down to Lake Placid, which would have just been the same, almost the same result. So that would have been a potential issue there too. But Robert Wrong says Coco versus Newberry. Newberry going to handle Bradford all over again. Well, let's talk about this thing. William Hankerson going Coco as well here. Let's talk about this. And a lot of Bulls. Mark Cannon. Oh, man. All right. Let's set this up. Rematch from week 8. Where we saw the Newberry Panthers beat the Bradford Tornadoes 21-7. That took the District 2A title. Well, this time Newberry's got to make the trip to David Hurst Stadium in Stark. And there's already some question from the Bradford fans about potentially how this game's going to go. So, man, Reno, this is why I deliberately going to let you lead off on this one. Let's talk about this game. Let's set the table here for everybody.
So this is probably matchup of the week for me right here, right? Especially not just because Newberry beat Bradford to win the district, but we were there. We got to watch both teams play. We saw the weaknesses. We saw the strengths. And now that both teams had the chance to reflect and sit on that game, we changed venues. Still doesn't change the fact that Newberry Panthers can charge down that field and control the clock and will control the game against Bradford.
So, Newberry for the pick. Chris, where are you going with this one in Tornado Alley?
Oh, man. This is going to be a close one. I think Newberry is going to win by maybe 2 or 3 points.
Wow, Newberry by 2 or 3 points. And I'm feeling the same way. I feel like Newberry here. And I feel like, honestly, you can only do so much with the Wildcat and trying to run it. And Newberry was prepared for it the first time around. And Newberry will be prepared for it again this time around against Bradford. I feel like Bradford kind of limits themselves when they use the Wildcat. And when teams are not prepared for it, well, obviously you get the result like you did against the Villages. But that doesn't happen against Newberry. It didn't happen the first time around. It's not happening the second time around. I know rematches are tougher, as Emery Williams Smith is going to bring up here. I'm going to pull up that comment here. Rematches are always tough. We'll be interested to see if Bradford revenges their loss or if Newberry wins for a second time. And honestly, it is one of these games of the week for sure, anywhere in the state, anywhere in any bracket here in the state this week. We've got a few more coming up here in terms of games that are going to be really, really good to keep an eye on here. But Ryan Hardy says complete toss-up. Again, one of those games a week for sure. Robert Ron says Newberry runs for 200 plus. There you go, Reno. There you go. Ellis Hall says Coco Bradford. So he thinks Coco Bradford will meet up for the regional final for the regional championship next week. Curtis Watson is going Newberry. He says the Panther will not survive in Tornado Alley Friday. Ooh, William Hankerson going saying okay, we've got a kind of a split jury here. But we're gonna go Coco. We're gonna go Coco Newberry, and he's picking Nolly's going Coco Bradford. So Nolly's not enough with us on half of this. So we'll have to see what happens there. But let's roll into our Class 2A Region 3 bracket. Cardinal Mooney 55-27 over Somerset Canyons. Kings Academy pulls just barely over ahead of Calvary Christian Fort Lauderdale 28-26. Bishop Rowe 35-21. Bishop Rowe was down 21-0 at one point in the game in the first half, but they rolled out 35 points to come back and beat the Spongers in their 100th season of football. And in the 3-6 matchup, Lakewood pulls the upset against Glade Central 14-7, which now sets up Kings Academy at Cardinal Mooney. Bishop Rowe hosting Lakewood this week in the Region 3 semifinals. All right, Chris, let's roll with this. Kings Academy, Cardinal Mooney. Cardinal Mooney, defending state champion last year in Class 1S. They're looking to maybe potentially run the table here again, but it's not going to be easy like it was last year for them.
Yeah, Cardinal Mooney's got some really good, really good defense. I think Cardinal Mooney's going to win this game, and then it's not even going to be close.
All right, Reno, where are you going with this?
Yeah, I want to see the perfect season continue, and I think they really have a chance to keep it going that way. So I think Cardinal Mooney will match up well here and continue on.
All right. I'm going to roll Cardinal Mooney as well. I feel like Kings Academy is just there's some things that are suspect about them. They went 7-0 before losing their final 3 games of the regular season. Very close result here against Calvary Christian, but Cardinal Mooney is no Calvary Christian, and Cardinal Mooney, I feel like, will pull ahead by 3 touchdowns in this one, in my opinion. And with that said, Cardinal Mooney is my pick. Bishop Rowe hosting Lakewood in this one. Lakewood pulling off again the surprising upset at Glade Central, but a Glade Central team that actually was in the rebuild mode this year and did very well, but so nothing to sniff at there for Glade Central. But Lakewood going to Bishop Rowe. Bishop Rowe kind of got caught napping in the first half, but again, came back and won that game. But I don't know. You can take a nap here against Lakewood because if you take a nap against Lakewood, they may catch you again here like they did with Glade Central. And so with that said, Reno started off here on this one. What do you got?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, Lakewood, they're one of those sneaky teams. This could be a catch game. Bishop Verreaux's got to come out strong and play like they have played. They can't have a slow start like they did this week, or Lakewood will take the game and continue it. But overall, Bishop Verreaux should win this one.
Absolutely. Chris, where are you going with this one as well?
It depends on which Bishop Verreaux team shows up. It depends on which Bishop Verreaux team shows up. Deshaun Jenkins, 1,500 rushing yards on the season for Bishop Verreaux. I think Bishop Verreaux wins this game, but it's going to be close.
All right, Bishop Verreaux. You heard it from all 3 of us, Bishop Verreaux here. And by the way, I got some other comments here in the chat. Emery Williams says, by the way, Bradford is another team that Hardy played in a state championship. Beat us in 1965. Boy, we got the historical references coming out.
And I hold a grudge.
Coach Ron says, I got a sneaky feeling that Lakewood makes it interesting, but sticking with Mooney versus Verreaux, which, by the way, would be a rematch, by the way, if that happens. And Emery Smith's going Cardinal Mooney. Nolly is going Cardinal Mooney versus and flip a coin between Lee and Pinellas counties. And Cardinal Mooney and Bishop Verreaux versus Zachary Holbach. Okay. All right. So we're already right there with that. And we're going to go into Region 4 here with this one. All right. Booker T. Washington over North Miami Beach, 31-13. Cardinal Gibbons edges Miami Carroll City in the Battle Chiefs, 17-14. Immaculate Cell edges Gulliver Prep, 27-21. And Monsignor Pace rolls over Ransom Everglades, 40-10. So Cardinal Gibbons, Booker T. Washington. This will be a Thursday night game at the Traz. Between the Chiefs and the Tornadoes, not very familiar with each other on the field, especially when it comes to playoffs. And then the Immaculate Cell, basically, by the way, Immaculate Cell, how about this? Their first playoff win in nearly 50 years. So congratulations to the Royal Lions. Yes, indeed. Their first playoff win in nearly 50 years. And Monsignor Pace, again, rolling over Ransom Everglades. So Monsignor Pace going to be Immaculate Cell Friday night. Cardinal Gibbons, Traz, Booker T. Washington at Traz. Let's start this off. Going, Chris, this one with you first. Cardinal Gibbons, Booker T. Washington, 2 teams you're familiar with, especially Cardinal Gibbons. Let's start here. Who you got here between the Tornadoes and the Chiefs?
Whoo! Boy, this is going to be a barn burner. I love both teams. Give me Booker T. Washington in an overtime win. This is going to be probably the game of the week.
OT win. Oh, he's calling for an OT win at the Traz. All right, Reno. You hear what Chris is saying here. What are you feeling here?
I hear what Chris is saying, but I'm paddling because I think the opposite is going to happen. I think it will be overtime, but I think it's going to be Cardinal Gibbons in the overtime because they know how to win in a close game just like that. So I'm going to go with the upset this week.
And I am not going with the upset. I'm going with Booker T. Washington. I know Coach DeBuck's watching this. I get it, but it's Traz. It's Traz. It's Traz Powell, and that's where it's a different environment with Traz Powell.
It's a whole this game we could talk about probably for 30 minutes, right? Like seriously, we could discuss this one, and we could probably have valid points both ways, literally.
No, absolutely. And Coach Ron's going Booker T versus Monsignor Pace. Zachary Hallbach saying the same. Hallbach saying the same thing. And Purdy says, "I'm late, but I'm here, right on time." Yes, you are, because we know what's coming up here in just a moment. But Purdy Bird, we're going to talk about that. But let's go to Immaculate Cell. Monsignor Pace, as Nole says, Booker T and Pace. So. All right, Immaculate Cell, Monsignor Pace, but I feel like the strength of schedule is going to come out to play and show its head here, and that favors Monsignor Pace, in my opinion, over Immaculate Cell. But I'll start with Chris on this one. Where are you going with this one, buddy?
I like Monsignor Pace in this one. It's just too much of a schedule thing for me with Pace.
Reno, where are you going? Are you coming back from Reno Island, coming back to the coast, or are you staying at Reno Island?
I thought I was out here chilling by myself, but apparently I got some visitors because I think Pace has the pace to carry on.
All right. And I think, and I'm with Monsignor Pace as well, because honestly, I feel like the strength of schedule is what's going to help the Spartans, and that's helped the Spartans so far, in my opinion. And I think that's what's going to play a big role here for the Spartans against the Royal Lions. So, and Mark Cannon says, right, we're going to get to it in a moment here, but it really is. I just believe Monsignor Pace, again, strength of schedule is going to be a big factor here. All right, let's roll into Class 3A. Yes, Class 3A, where Mark Cannon says Reigns in the house, and Reigns is in the house tonight for sure here, because Purdy said, as he said a moment ago, he was right on time. And let's talk about it. Reigns 53-14 over Bay. Wakala 28-14 over Menendez. Gabi 35-28 over Swanee. A close one. Bishop Kenny rolls Baker County 42-21. That sets up the 1-4 matchup with Wakala going to Reigns, and then the 2-3 matchup with Bishop Kenny on the road at Gabi. I don't know if that game is going to be at Gene Cox or if that game will actually be at Child. So I'll try to find out here when we get started as we get started in talking about this here. Reno, Wakala, and Reigns here, and our friend Purdy Purr is waiting for our predictions. I know he's waiting for us to figure out who we're going to pick. Which, who knows? Is Reno going up the Reno Island here or not?
No, I think this one is pretty much a straight slap all the way through. Reigns will carry on. So
all right. So you hear what Reno is saying. He's going with Reigns here. Chris, where are we going?
I like Reigns. I like Reigns in this one. That's just too much offense, too much defense. I don't think they can be beating this bracket.
No, absolutely. So, with that said, I'm going with Reigns as well. I was hoping I had to pull up the bracket from the FHSAA here, but it shows it Gabi, but that's not going to – there's no way. I don't think that game's at Gabi unless they're really going to actually play it at Gabi. I have a feeling that the stadium's going to be somewhere – at either between if it's not at Gene Cox, it's going to be at Childs, where those are the two biggest stadiums in the city of Tallahassee for high school football. But let's talk about it. Gabi hosting Bishop Kenny here. Boy, Gabi got barely just off with Swanee, a team that they had to play in the district here. And as I bring up the picks here, Purdy is going with Vikings over McCullough this week by 20. Coach Ron says Reigns slapped the taste out of McCullough 44-14. Reigns versus Bishop Kenny for the regional final, and raining golf ball size hail. What's going on here? Is it storming where you're at, Ellis? I know there's storms coming, so raining golf's okay. We'll have to see what he's talking about. But and then Nully is going Rains and Godby here. So let's talk about it. Godby and Bishop Kenny. Chris, let's talk about this one. Godby and Bishop Kenny. Where are we going with this one? This one can be really, really interesting.
Yeah, this one's gonna be a tough one. I'd like Bishop Kenny to edge it out on the road, but I wouldn't be surprised to Godby win it outright and blown out. It could go either way. I think, but I'm taking Bishop Kenny.
All right, you hear what Chris has got. Reno, where are you going with this one?
With this one, I'm going to the stats on this one. And I'm looking at something that may or may not make a difference on this. But when you look at the average sacks per game between the two teams, Godby is 2.3, Bishop Kenny is 0.8. With that said, Godby averages 254 yards passing per game, and Bishop Kenny is 103. So with that, I think Godby can pull this out because they're not going to get to that quarterback.
Boy, and that's my one big question about Bishop Kenny is being able to get the quarterback. But I thought that might have been the case for them against Baker County last week, because if I'm going back and looking through our notes here, and I want to say, let me see if I've got it sitting here right here. Yes, I did. We both picked Baker County, and we were wrong on that one. So my gut feeling this week, I'm taking Bishop Kenny for the win and getting to the regional finals against Range. And Mark Dennis, oh gosh, wouldn't be able to say,
oh my goodness!
Wow, that is something. That is something to bring up Felipe Franks, a name I have not heard here in a hot minute.
That's a major burn.
That is, and Seth Myers, yeah, burn.
We'll take a sip of water to that.
The mighty Tom McPherson defense pulls out a 22-21 win. Yes, the former Baker County head coach and Orange Park Raider head coach Tom McPherson now on the staff at Bishop Kenny. Yes, Tom McPherson there, and he was really rolling some excitement last week after that win. So I'm going with Bishop Kenny in that one. All right, let's roll into 3A Region 2 here, where it was pretty much it was either a close matchup or blowout city in O'Galley 35-0 over Crystal River. Titusville edges Merritt Island 17-14. Bishop Moore 35-6 over Eastside. And Dunellen 28-7 over Mount Dora, which sets up Titusville at O'Galley, and another rematch of Brevard County teams, and Dunellen making the trip down the turnpike to Bishop Moore in Orlando. So let's start off with this one. Titusville, O'Galley. Chris, let's go with you first. Where are we going with this one in the battle between the Terriers and the Commodores?
I like O'Galley on this one. It's too much. The home field advantage is going to be too much for them.
All right, Reno, what about you? How are you feeling here?
Well, I think I've picked O'Galley all year so far, and they haven't let me down. They're very strong, and I know I've said that they're number one for a reason. Last week showed it with that goose egg on the board. Titusville just won't be able to hold the wall up, so O'Galley all the way.
Yep, and I'm going to roll O'Galley as well all the way on this one here. I just feel like that they have what it takes here against Titusville. It might be a little closer than what we may have saw in the regular season, but I'm just really thinking that it's going to be O'Galley's game and nothing else here in this situation here. So with that said, O'Galley, we got Dunellen at Bishop Moore, and and Dunellen's played a tough schedule, so I feel like Bishop Moore, you can't look at Dunellen and sniff at him. I feel like you're going to have to be ready for a close competition from the Tigers here, given the teams they have played this year. And honestly, my gut feeling says to take the home team, but then I wouldn't be shocked if Dunellen pulls off the surprise of a good upset here. So, but let's start with you, Reno here. Dunellen, Bishop Moore.
This is another stat game, like you're saying, because you can't just say Dunellen it can be wiped off the map here. Now, the one thing about Bishop Moore, though, Let's talk about that offensive line. 196 pancake blocks is what they put up on stat wise so far. That's a lot of blocking. That's a lot of protection. And that's the one thing I don't think Donnellan's going to be able to do is get to the quarterback this week. So I think Bishop Moore will take this game based solely on a defensive battle.
And reminder for Brevard, yes, it was 7-3 in the regular season, so we got to keep that in mind here for Ocala Titusville, by the way. So keep that in mind, but I feel like this time around it might be different here. So let's just keep that in the note. But you're going with Bishop Moore, you said, Reno?
Yeah, I'm going with Bishop Moore on this one.
All right, Chris, where are you going with this one as well?
I like Bishop Moore, but it's going to be a closer game than a lot of people would anticipate. This could go down to like the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, I gotta roll with Bishop Moore as well. I just feel like Bishop Moore, it's just a home field advantage, and but it's gonna be a close game. It's going to be really, really close. And also, I got to remember, if O'Galley, shoot, no, not the comment. It's the comment thing. O'Galley won on a blocked field goal. They had less than 100 yards of offense, and that's the thing. Yes, and I want to say, if I'm correct, that game was one of the games that was impacted during the stretch of hurricane. So I'm trying to remember if that's the case, because if that was the case, I mean, I know that the games with weather have impacted a lot of teams this year, not expecting some results versus others. So, but it seems like O'Galley is, kind of, hot on their cylinders now where they really need to be, and that's playoff time here, not anywhere else. So let's keep that in mind here. And O'Galley is Brevard County, Tom Greg Bailey, and BMC football going with a nice pick here for us. So, yeah, that's not Reno, but yes, I think all of us took Bishop Moore. And Nunelli is going O'Galley and Bishop Moore. Wow. All right. And he says it O'Galley that's the way he actually would say it. O'Galley, like the way Nolly said it. O'Galley. That's how you pronounce it.
O'Galley.
Yes, indeed. All right. Let's roll to our next pick here. And went a little too far there. There we go. All right. Into Region 3 here. And exactly Holbach says O'Galley and Bishop Moore. So, all right, Region 3, we saw Jefferson almost lose here to a 3-7 Hudson team. So Jefferson, and by the way, they're 11-0, not 10-0. I put 10-0 on the bracket, but it's 11-0. Jefferson's 11-0 now, but look at this. Boca Ciega, 52-13 over Chamberlain. So Boca Ciega rolling into in that 1-5 matchup. Booker 58-6 over Hardy and Nature Coast. How about this? Pulls off the upset on Mulberry, 14-0. Mulberry, without their head coach, placed on administrative leave last week, and that had a big impact. And boy, now it sets up a 1-5 matchup with Boca Ciega at Jefferson and a 2-6 matchup with Nature Coast at Booker. So, Reno, let's start with Boca Ciega Jefferson. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Boca Ciega running up the points and Jefferson barely just hanging on by a thread.
Which is amazing because Jefferson averages 500 yards a game. So to see them in a close battle like that really surprises me. But also I know close games like that in the playoff will make you relook at things. And even though Boca Ciega put up 52, I think they're about to meet a defense that's now hungry and understands where they play. I'm going with Jefferson on this one.
Wow. All right. You hear Reno. He is going Jefferson on that one. Chris, where are you going with this?
Yeah, shout out to Jack Cunningham on the defense for Jefferson. Jefferson, I think, could edge this thing out. It's going to be a defensive battle. It's going to be a little closer than people think. But, yeah, Jefferson to win.
I think this is going to be a closer game because given what Boca Ciega did to Chamberlain, Jefferson's just going to have to learn their lessons from what they get played against Hudson. Hudson, obviously, that 3-7 record kind of showed there, that was not really, that 3-7 record was kind of deceiving. Mm-hmm. So in this situation, I take Jefferson here, but again, I go along with Chris in echoing that it's going to be a much closer game than I think some people are going to think here. And with that said, we have Nature Coast at Booker here. And again, Booker rolling with 58 points last week. Nature Coast pulling off that upset here. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. But I like what the Booker Tornadoes have been doing here, especially what Scotty Littles has been doing here as a head coach. So, Reno, let me start it off with you here on this one.
Well, this one, when you really break it down, it's very, very even. I don't think the stats for the win-loss really matter at this point. It's going to come down to a game of grit, and I think I'll go with Booker.
All right, Chris, where are you rolling with this one here?
I don't like Booker to win this game. Yeah, I'm going with Reno on this one. If Booker should be a good, solid, easy one for this game.
Yes. And as Mark Cannon says, too, my kids graduated from Booker, go Tornadoes. So there's a little bit of Booker right there in the house. Is from Mark Cannon. And Nolly says, every season I have to relearn how to say, oh, golly. Jefferson and Booker are his picks. And Emory Williams says Booker versus Jefferson for the regional finals. It'll be interesting to see if the winner in the region will have to play Miami Northwestern or Reigns in the semifinals after the FHSAA recalculates all the seedings. Yes, because these two teams between either one of them, I'll tell you what, honestly, either one of them is going to end up on a long road trip, either to Jackson, to the 904 or to the 305. So there you go. That is Region 3 there. Let's go to Region 4. Well, we see Miami Northwestern just totally blow out Barron Collier 69 to Goose Egg. Miami Jackson 44-39. What a battle there between the Trojans and the Generals. Key West all over Estero 42-7 and Cypress Lake 27-7 over Somerset Academy, which sets up Lele going to Miami Northwestern at Traz Pal Friday night, and then Key West hosting Cypress Lake. Cypress Lake got a 6-hour bus ride ahead of them down to the southern tip of the state of Florida. And my, oh my, let's start with Northwestern. I think really I have a feeling for all three of us. I think this is no questions asked what Teddy Bridgewater has done in his first year as a head football coach. First year as a coach in the high school level, period. He has brought the pride and it's recently restored the pride of the Bulls back in 1 year. I can't say, but I have a feeling I know where we're going with this one. I think this is really no question here. But, Chris, let me start it out with you. Where are you going?
Yeah, no comment. Northwestern should roll this game. It's not even going to be close. It's going to be over by the second quarter.
Where are we going with it?
Yeah, Northwestern. They're going to be playing the third string.
By the way, Coach Bridgewater has said on X that they are closing in on having not one, not two, not three, but 4 wide receivers that live 10 touchdowns each.
Mm-hmm.
4. And that could happen here in this game this Friday night. So there you go. There you go. All right. And this next game, Cypress Lake at Key West at Tommy M. Roberts Memorial Stadium there down in Key West. And honestly, it's another 6-hour bus trip for a team from Southwest Florida having to make that trip all the way down to Key West. And honestly, as it saw for Estero, obviously the second team from Lee County, I should say, because Estero's Lee County, Cypress Lake, Lee County. Well, 6-hour bus trip. Look what it got Estero. A bus trip back home with an L. I get the feeling this might happen to Cypress Lake. Reno, let me start with you on this one. Where are we going?
I think Key West they're very comfortable. They're in their groove. They're just chilling in the wind, and they're going to keep moving on.
Yeah, Key West should win this game. That's going to be a long trip for Cypress Lake. Key West,
I agree.
Rolling big time.
Book some tours while you're there.
No, absolutely. Teddy sips on that Jimmy. Oh my gosh. Mark Cannon says, go Conks, make them ride that bus. Noli is going Northwestern in Key West. And Tom Greg Bailey says Northwestern used to play home games in the old Orange Bowl. Yes, they did. A lot of teams in Miami used to play in those games in that old Orange Bowl. That is now home of whatever they call that ballpark for the Miami Marlins now. Rest in peace, Orange Bowl. Rest in peace, because that would be a good stadium to host state championship games, in my opinion. But I digress. So. All right, that is Class 3A Region 4 there. Let's go rolling into 4A because then we're going to do 5A, 6A, and 7A after we take another 2-minute water break. So we're going to do 4A Region 1 here. Let's talk about it here. St. Augustine over Columbia 28-0. Ed White edges Pine Forest 26-13. Choctaw 49-0 over Arnold, and then Escambia, woo! A 1-point victory over Riverside 29-28. And with that said, it sets up Ed White at St. Augustine at the Foots, and Choctaw hosting Escambia this week. So, Reno, my man, let's talk about Ed White, St. Augustine. We both picked Ed White. We thought the long bus trip against Pine Forest was going to affect them, and it did. Not to say that Pine Forest got off to an early 13-0 start, but Ed White kind of came cruising back here. But St. Augustine's a whole different team, a whole different animal than what Ed White saw against Pine Forest this past week. So Reno started off here.
No, and I think Ed White will make the adjustments. I think they'll come out real strong. But in the long run, I think St. Augustine will have the experience and from the team to carry on for the win.
All right, Chris.
Too much firepower for the Yellow Jackets. St. Augustine should win this game.
Oh, absolutely. I'm going with it with Brian Braddock's crew. St. Augustine, they've got multiple Division I prospects. Ed White's got a few too, but St. Augustine just a whole different planet there, down there in the nation's oldest city. And I think St. Augustine's going to go rolling into I can't even keep count anymore how many regional finals they have been to, because they have been to plenty of them between both Brian Braddock and previous head coach Joey Wilds over the last 20 to 25 years. So with that said, we got Mike Bennett's Escambia Gators versus Frank Beasley's Choctaw Indians. Two great coaches in this state going at it here in this one here. And Racetrack Road there in Fort Walton Beach will be hopping Friday night with this game here, because it is going to be a battle and a battle and a battle. So, but with that said, that was a close by the teeth there for Escambia. Reno, where are we going with this?
You know, this was hard, because you're right. Two great coaches, two great programs, two great philosophies, two great physical teams. I think it's just going to come down the home field advantage on this one.
Wow. All right. Reno's rolling with Choctaw here. Wow. Okay. All right. Chris, where are we going with this? Gators or Indians?
Wow. You could have an argument for either team in this matchup. But I like Choctaw just at home, just because it's at home. It's probably going to be I wouldn't be surprised if it goes 2 or 3 overtimes.
Oh, he's calling for an overtime victory. I think Choctaw is going to edge this by 14. I feel like Frank Beasley's program, they've been really good. This was supposed to be kind of a little bit of a readjustment period this year for the Indians, but it's been anything such but that, and they've been rolling here. Panhandle football is some of the best football you can see here in the Sunshine State, and this is going to be a great battle here. But if it comes out closer than 14, then then the fans are going to definitely get more than what they paid for that game. So, with that said, I'm rolling with Choctaw here, and Travis Banta Tony Maz is going St. Augustine to Escambia. Travis Banta is going St. Augustine. Oh, Coach Rod says Ed White's going to – oh, man, that's a heavy dose of Benadryl after getting stung. St. Augustine 38-21.
I like that.
Coach Ron's going Choctaw 21+. Nolly's going Yellow Jackets and Gators, so he's going St. Augustine and Escambia, and I believe in Mike B here, so he's going with Mike Bennett here for Escambia. So both coaches, really great coaches here in the Sunshine State. Let's roll into 4A. Region 2, let's talk about this. Jones all over LaCanto, 42-7. Zephyr Hills, 35-15 over Rockledge. Vanguard, 35-10 over Leesburg. Lake Wells blows out New Smyrna Beach, 52-19. So Zephyr Hills at Jones, Lake Wells at Vanguard Booster Stadium there in Ocala this week. So I feel like anybody who goes up against Jones really – it's really, especially some of these other teams, it's been no contest for some. I mean, Ocoee, it was only 14-0 against Ocoee in the final regular season game, but as we see, Jones just rolls over LeCanto, and I don't know if Zephyr Hills is going to have in it for them against Jones. So, Chris, let me start with you. Tigers or Bulldogs?
Tigers, I think, have way too much offense. It's not a surprise to either one of these teams here. So, yeah, I think Jones will roll pretty easily.
No, I hear you. That Reno, where are you going with this?
That dog can hunt. I'm going for the upset in Zephyr Hills.
Oh, okay. Going out to Reno Island and taking the upset. All right, but I am not taking the upset here. I am going with the Jones. I'm going with Jones here in this one. So,
for you, Reno.
David,
Thank you.
next to us says Vanguard and Jones. So, and Nolly says Zephyr Hills goes on their 2024 water break and falls to Jones Lake. Oh, man.
The well is dry, huh? The well is dry.
Oh, sorry. Robert Ryan says Jones Vanguard, great season at the Zeph and Lake Wells, but these two teams are title contenders. It says, thanks for playing Zephyr Hills. Oh,
yeah. We'll see next week. We'll see. 24-21.
Okay. See. Okay. Well, hey, hold on, Bobby. We'll talk about that moment in Plant City because actually, you're actually wrong on that one about Plant City because they will actually be at home. So we'll talk about that here in a moment. All right. Lake Wells at Vanguard. Oh man, rematch from last year, and Vanguard took them to them last year, and I feel like that might be the same situation here. Reno, let's talk about it. Lake Wells, Vanguard.
Hey, I said it earlier this year already that Vanguard is looking like the traditional Vanguard they used to be back in the day. And I think they have the number this year, and they're going to take them to the cleaners. So Vanguard.
Are we talking about back in the day when Dante Culpepper was doing his thing?
Don't show my age too much, but yes.
Dante Culpepper. There you go. There's a name you haven't heard in a hot minute, people. Chris hasn't heard that name in a hot minute too. Dante Culpepper. Absolutely. All right. I am going Vanguard as well here. I feel like the Knights are just going to be too much for the Highlanders for the second straight year. And Vanguard will end the season for them for the second consecutive year, in my opinion. So, all right. Class 4A Region 3. How about this? Port Charlotte roll over South Fort Myers. 38-0. That was a district rematch right there. Jesuit 29-3 over Clearwater. Clearwater just didn't stand a chance there. So Jesuit on to the regional semifinals. Naples rolls over River Ridge 44-0. How about this? St. Petersburg pulls off probably one of the biggest upsets of the week. 35-0 in that 3-6 matchup. And St. Petersburg is on to the regional semifinals, and Dunbar is done for the season. Kind of surprised there what happened there with Dunbar. But, gentlemen, this sets up the situation of Jesuit at Port Charlotte and St. Petersburg at Naples. And let's just go. Let's start with Jesuit here at Port Charlotte. Port Charlotte's has been looking really good here. And Chris, let's start it off with you. Pirates or Tigers?
I like the Pirates in this game, especially at home. They've been rolling really well. They've got a well-oiled machine up there. So I like Port Charlotte to win this game.
All right, Reno, let's roll with this one. Where are we going?
These Pirates have their own island that they will protect, and they will maintain their island. So Port Charlotte all the way.
Nope. Nah, they are the class of Charlotte County this year. Has been doing really well, and I am rolling with Jordan Ingman's team. Port Charlotte, they have just been a really on a roll here, and I don't think anything is stopping them here at this particular conjecture here. And Emory Williams-Smith, I see your comment. You're talking about Jones being a really big, a tough team, and Emory Williams-Smith, there he is. He's picking for the Port Charlotte Pirates for the win this week, and I see a rematch with Naples in the regional finals next week. And Nole says Jesuits looking vulnerable, and I'll go with Port Charlotte. St. Pete Green Devils had a great run, but it ends with a loss in Naples. And Mark Ann's like, Port Charlotte versus Jesuit should be a classic, and that could be a potential, yes, especially with the coaching there between Jordan Ingman and Matt Thompson for a Jesuit. All right, Naples hosting St. Petersburg. Green Devils pull off the big upset against Dunbar here this past week, but Naples just looked too good against River Ridge, and those Golden Eagles, they're hard to defeat at Staver Field, and Port Charlotte got lucky this year. They got really lucky and found a way to beat the Golden Eagles at home. So, and the only other team I believe that beat Naples at home this year, American Heritage Plantation. So, Chris, where are we going to roll with here on this one here between the Golden Eagles and the Green Devils?
Well, I like both teams, actually. Shout out to Jeff Jones from St. Petersburg. He's 14 yards away from 1,800 yards on the season, I believe. And then, but I like Naples at home. It's going to be a lot closer than people think it's going to be. But, yeah, Naples at home.
All right, Reno, where are we going? Are we going up to Reno Island, or are we going to
we're going to go to Spurrier Island on this one. We're going to see what old ball coach has to say. Ball coach, what do you got on this one? Ball coach is for the upset. We're going St. Petersburg.
Wow. I honestly gotta go with Naples. I just gotta stick with the home team here. I've seen Naples, and I've gone down the Staver Field. It's a hard it's a tough environment to play at, but I feel like it's just gonna be Naples here, in my opinion here, and we'll see what happens here. And but Mark Candace talking about Jesuit might be peaking here, so we'll have to see here. But so far it's 2 for Naples and 1 for St. Pete here in terms of the situation here. And Robert Ron, he said, my upset region of the week, Jesuit versus St. Petey. Oh boy. Wow. All right, let's take a look at Class 4A Region 4, where we see Plantation American Heritage rolled Jensen Beach 40-7, Dillard 43-20 over John Carroll, Miami Norland rolls Hialeah 39-7, and the biggest surprise of eyeballs this week, Archbishop McCarthy 7-0 over Plantation. Yes, that is not a fluke, not inaccurate. It is accurate. All it took was one score, and that was it for Archbishop McCarthy. But that sets up Dillard at American Heritage and Archbishop McCarthy versus Norland this week. And honestly, boy, oh boy, oh boy. Let's start with Dillard and American Heritage. Chris, I'm going with you first because this is familiar territory you're with. Boy, Dillard, I almost want to say thanks for playing here, because American Heritage just looks really good right now.
Dillard's been a really good program over the years. Go with American Heritage. Classic Broward County and matchup here. Give me Diabell and the American Heritage Patriots.
All right, Reno, where are you going here?
I don't know where I'm flying to on this one, but with this game going to be pretty high scoring, I think I'll go American Heritage.
All right. Well, I'm going to roll on what Chris said about Diabell. Diabell has just been really, really impressive here, and the Texas commit has just been shining out this season, and I don't think that's going to stop here. I feel like looking at it here that what we're seeing in this bracket alone here, American Heritage and Miami Norland, one of these two teams will be playing in the 4A state championship at Pitbull Stadium in just a few weeks' time. So with that said, I'm going American Heritage Diabell here in that one. But let's look at the other side of this. 3 of the 4 teams left are from District 4A 15. American Heritage is one of them. Miami Norland and Archbishop McCarthy are the other 2. When Miami Norland played Archbishop McCarthy, it was no contest basically this year. And honestly, I'm surprised McCarthy got past Plantation, but nonetheless to say, congratulations to the Mavericks, their first playoff win in years. But Miami Norland, the Vikings are just a whole different animal here. Chris, let's roll. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I agree with you. Miami Norland should it shouldn't even be close. I think it's going to be over by halftime.
And Reno, what are you feeling here?
Yeah, the fairy dust doesn't continue down there. Miami New Orleans will take this game.
Yeah, Enio Yopor, he's been a solid quarterback for Miami New Orleans for the last few years, and honestly, there's no stopping him in this situation. It may be, next week might be a different story between when American Heritage and New Orleans meet for the regional final, but it's New Orleans show here against McCarthy. I'm not sure if this game is going to be played at Traz or if it's going to be played at Melander / AKA Ted Hendricks. I'm going to find out here in just a moment. Hopefully, maybe it's been put up here on the bracket here, and game will be played. Okay, this is interesting. There's a note here that says on this game, even though it's supposed to be New Orleans at home, I guess some issues with the stadium is put the game at Archbishop McCarthy. Interesting. But I don't think no matter where you put that game at, it's New Orleans game.
Yeah.
So, we got the comments here, right here. It says, move it along, America's team versus New Orleans. Why? Wait a second. I thought Dallas Cowboys was America's team. What the heck? Two cards today says, I'm going with Heritage, but Dillard's going to put up a fight. Nolly's going American Heritage in New Orleans. He's going New Orleans. And King J says, I'm from Leesburg, and I'm disappointed that the second half of our season was bad. Oh, man. I'm sorry, man.
Yeah, that was rough.
Yeah, absolutely. I know it's rough, but Emery Smith says, I agree, Josh. I think either American Heritage Plantation or Miami New Orleans will play in the Class 4A state championship. So, yes, indeed. All right, we are through 2A, 3A, 4A on that side of the after we had the first water break, but we are going to take our second of the water breaks here in just a moment here. But guys, so far we're through. Let's see, 5. Let's see, 4, 5. Yeah, we're through five of the. Yeah, I'm trying to think. We're through 6 of the brackets. I'm sorry to say, because we got to kind of count and fit too. So I think we're 6. We got 3 brackets left to go here. So any thoughts?
We're rolling.
Chris, any thoughts here? All right.
No, I think this is good, man. I mean, these games last week were surprising, and it's setting up really good matchups for us to talk about. So,
no, absolutely. Mark Cannon says any report for Mr. Florida for Mr. Football for Florida. So we'll have to see what happens here when the voting comes out pretty soon here. All right, we're going to take a break here. Water break, 2-minute water break here. We'll be right back here on the Drive the State show here for brackets in 5A, 6A, and 7A. And to wrap up the show here, we'll be right back here after this 2-minute water break. back here to the Drive the State show here on FortHSFootball.com. And got myself, Joshua Wilson here, got Christopher Lyke there, associate editor there, and our co-host Mike Reno there joining us here. And guys, we are through 6 of the 9 playoff brackets, and let's get into the next classification. We have got the 5A bracket coming up here. Let me go ahead and pull that up here, and let's see. Come on now. There we go. All right, let's talk about this here. All right, Niceville rolled over Middleburg, 49-13. Ponte Vedra rolling over Beachside, 45-21. Lincoln knocks out first of the defending state champions, Mainland, 21-0. And Fleming Island upsets Mosley in the 3-6 matchup, 35-28. With that said, it sets up Ponte Vedra on the road at Niceville and Fleming Island at Lincoln, which could either be at Gene Cox or Childs. By the way, as Reno mentioned in the picks about the picks last week, Reno was 80% right on the picks, and I was 83% right as well. So 101-20 for myself, 97-24 for Reno. Not bad. Not bad for either one of us there. So round of applause there. For both of us.
Good job,
there.
Josh. Good job.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Fourth quarter in the show, as Reno said. So let's talk about these games here. Ponte Vedra at Niceville, Fleming Island host at Lincoln. So, Chris, let's start out with you. Ponte Vedra going to Niceville. This is going to be a long road trip out to the Panhandle for the Sharks.
Yeah, the Sharks are going to be shark-bitten going all the way to Niceville. Too much Brian case for me with Niceville. Niceville's going to roll in the game.
You heard it from Chris there. Niceville, Reno. How are you feeling? Are we going to stick with the Eagles, or are we going to go out to Reno Island, where the Sharks are stirring?
We're going to pedal out to the Sharks. I think this is one Ponte Vedra can turn around and can take away from Niceville.
And it's not to say that teams can't win at Niceville. It's just it's difficult. Eagle Stadium is a difficult place to play at. It has been done before. It has been done before in the playoffs. But I feel like the long road trip, I know Steve Price is a very good head coach. He is a state championship winning head coach. But I think it's going to be too much for Ponte Vedra. The atmosphere is just going to be too much. And I am taking Niceville at home here in this one. For matchup. And Mark Hannon has asked what happened to Mosley. Well, I'm wondering if they lost to Florida High kind of got to them and it kind of stuck in their heads and kind of rolled over into this game, and Fleming Island just came in ready to battle. And I think that's exactly what it kind of just happened. It's a Fleming Island defense too. And well, that said, Fleming Island at Lincoln. Reno, where are we going to go to? And we got the cat going across the bridge here. Always got to have the neighborhood cat somewhere, or the show cat, as they say. But Reno, let's start with this Fleming Island, Lincoln. Let's talk about this. Fleming Island's defense. That was a big one there for them against Mosley last week.
And these teams are pretty much even when it comes to stats on the board. So, I'm going to have to come down to home field advantage on this one particular, even though I know I didn't go with it on Niceville. But I think this one with Lincoln, they'll roll over Fleming Island.
All right, Chris, you heard what Reno said. He's going with Lincoln here in this one. So,
yeah, it's interesting that this bracket has all the state champions, all the district champions in one side of the bracket. I don't like what Fleming Island's done this year, but give me Lincoln at home.
I'm going to go Lincoln at home. It's going to be a close one. It's going to be a battle. I know. I don't know where Jonathan Ferris is at tonight. Maybe he's not on, but I know he would be talking about this one. He told me a few days ago he's kind of nervous of what's going to happen with this one because of the way Fleming Island's been playing. And we're going to bring it up. Coach Ron says Fleming Island defense shows up again, 23-21 over Lincoln. Coach Ron knows a thing or two about Fleming Island himself. And did you guys cover rural Florida? Yes, rural Florida. What the rural bracket was at the start of the show, King Jay. So when it got done with the broadcast, you can go back and watch it, and you'll see where our picks are for the rural brackets. And I'm gonna say Mark Gannon. This is the cat mix. This is fixed. Fleming Island QB is what happened to Mosley. Went off. Yeah, Sebastian Broughton. Sebastian Broughton. He's been a heck of a quarterback for Fleming Island the last few years, and that's the reason why. And if Fleming Island wins, it wouldn't be shocking against Lincoln. But I'm rolling with Lincoln. But I just got to say this: what Derek Cipoletti has done since taking over as head coach right before the start of the season, it has been very, very impressive. And by the way, factoid here for you. Derek Cipoletti's father, Neil Cipoletti, is the one that started the program at Fleming Island in year circa of 2003. So there you go. Little factoid. So now it's father like son has come back around here and for Fleming Island. So, all right. Well, the cat's coming for more picks here. All right, let's go to the 5A Region 2 here, where we saw Lakeland just roll all over Spoto 51-6. Gaylor rolls all over Springstead 42-0. Edgewater rolls over East Bay 35-7. And Tampa Bay Tech has their dealing with Sebring 35-14. So, all right, Reno, Gaylor, and Lakeland. You took Springstead thinking that Springstead was going to get Gaylor here this past week, but yeah, Gaylor had other awards for that one, and they said, "Here's 42 points. We're rolling into the next round." But this one's you get Lakeland here. Lakeland, this is gonna be tough.
It is
at Bryant.
I mean, Gaither is averaging 340 yards a game, and I should have took that into account last week. I am going to take that into account this week. This is a trap game, and I think Gaither will pull the upset this week over Lakeland.
Ooh, okay. So Reno has gone out to Reno Island here for the Gaither pick. So, Chris, where are we going here? Is it Dreadnoughts or Cowboys?
I don't like Lakeland in this game. Not only to roll, they're going to probably win it by at least 2 or 3 touchdowns.
And I got to go with Chris because Lakeland is just too good right now. And honestly, this is one of those teams that I feel like it's going to be playing for the 5A state title here. It's just a matter who are they going to face on the other side. Is it going to be a St. Thomas Aquinas? Is it going to be a Delray Beach Atlantic? I mean, there's several teams that could be in the mix here, and or could it be a Niceville? Could it be a Lincoln? Could it be a Fleming Island? There's so many options here for the 5A bracket here. Who could because honestly, I don't think St. Thomas Aquinas is a shoe-in potentially against the Lakeland here. I don't think so, but we'll talk about that more here in a moment here as we roll along. Mr. 813 says Gaylor will pull off an upset. So you got company, Reno. You got company. Mark Cannon says, I'll be tending Tampa Bay Tech at Edgewater. We'll talk about that one in a moment. Lakeland has not seen a defense like Gaylor. Okay. Emory Williams Smith says the Lakeland Dreadnoughts will win this region. I see them winning another state championship this year. Yes, they have won 2 straight titles. One with Bill Castle's last year, and then the first state championship. Now, the head coach's name is slipping my head there at Lakeland here. Somebody remind me here. Nolly, please remind me who the head coach's name is at Lakeland. It's slipping my head right this second. I'm usually pretty good with this stuff. That's just because I've had a lot of factoids here thrown at me and going at me right this second. And 2 Kraselli says Lakeland and Edgewater. Nully is going Lakeland, marches towards Tampa Bay Tech. Reno, have you lost your mind? One says Lakeland, Tampa Bay Tech. Dallas Wilson embarrasses Edgewater's DBs in a teach tape performance. Okay. Ooh, I like that. Eric Daniels, good evening to you. Glad to see you on. He says Manatee. It says Chris is like Reno has lost his mind. Hey, Reno. Whoa. And Marvin Frazier. Yes, Marvin Frazier. Thank you, Nolly. Nolly, thank you. Thank you. I knew it was started with M and it was not coming to me. Marvin Frazier. Yes, Marvin Frazier, first year head coach last year, won his first state title and potentially going to happen again this year. So, all right, 5A Region 2 right there in the rear, and let's go into 5A Region 3 where we saw Manatee roll Pinellas Park 55-14. Immokalee gets by Cape Coral 26-19. Fort Myers edges Charlotte in overtime 27-21, and Riverdale gets by North Fort Myers 34-14, setting up Immokalee at Manatee, Riverdale at Fort Myers. So there's going to be at least one Lee County team making it to the regional final out of this bracket, and then got Collier County versus Manatee County, but Manatee, Jaquez Green, the Former Gator great there, by the way. I should say that very fast. Boy, Manatee is just looking really, really good. Reno, I think we know a thing or two about Florida Gators being in our own backyard, and Jaquez Green was part of that at some point.
100%, yeah. Well, this one, I'm on an upset roll, and I'm loving underdogs on this one. I'm sorry.
Oh, by the way, I got to go back. I think we didn't talk about the Tampa Bay Tech Edgewater pick, so we're going to have to go back here in a moment here. But let's go ahead and do this one with the Manatee pick here. Chris, what are you thinking here?
I'm going to go with Reno on this one. I think Immaculate, they've got a good running game going in there. Give me Immaculate to upset Manatee on the road.
Wait a second, both of y'all are going to Mockley here? Man,
seems like it happened. Yeah.
But I'm going Manatee. I don't ever underestimate what Jaquez Green can do, and he's in his bag of tricks here. By the way, we got to go back real quick. I somehow did this. This is my own fault because we got so riled up and going crazy here. But Edgewater, Tampa Bay Tech. Let's go back to that one real quick here. Was it 56-26 correct score? Okay, man. Some of these people mess up on the brackets here, but anyways, we know that we know that Manatee won. That's besides the point. Edgewater, Tampa Bay Tech here. Let's talk about that one here. Titans, Eagles. I mean, it's going to be a good matchup, but some people think Tampa Bay Tech has what it is to win this one.
That's what I've been hearing, and I think this is Tampa Bay Tech's game to lose at this point, and they need to come out and play to secure the win. But I am going to pick them on paper to win.
All right, you're going with Tampa Bay Tech, Chris. Where are you rolling with?
I think there's going to be a lot closer than people think. Probably one of the more entertaining games in the entire state. Give me Tampa Bay Tech on the road.
I'm going with Tampa Bay Tech as well here because I feel like they mentioned Dallas Wilson, and Dallas Wilson might put on a masterclass for Edgewater to see. And Tampa Bay Tech, Jason Roberts' pro team, he's been coaching these guys up, and they once they got that taste of a state championship game a few years ago, these guys have been passing that down to these guys ever since. So I think they're looking to try to, because they really want Lakeland. Tampa Bay Tech, they really want Lakeland. So with that said, there is that one here. Let's roll back to that bracket here. As we already talked about Manatee, and it was 55-26, so I apologize for getting the score right on their one. Eric Daniels says, y'all out of your minds on that pick. Everybody's business says Manatee Hurricanes, and Nolly's going, man, I like Manatee, got to go with Fort Myers. Mark Cannon is going to go Green Wave here as we talk about Riverdale, Fort Myers. Fort Myers hosting Riverdale, Battle of Lee County here for these two teams here. Chris, let me start with you. Who is it going to be, Green Wave or Raiders?
Oh, man. Give me the Green Wave.
All right. So Chris is going with Fort Myers. Where are you going with this one, Reno? Fort Myers or Riverdale?
I'm looking at defense on this one, and Riverdale has the higher sacks, so I'm going to go with Riverdale.
All right. Well, I'm going to leave coaching in the hands here, and Sammy Serini Jr., he is a heck of a ball coach, been there for years. He followed up behind his father's footsteps, who really basically was the mastermind of getting Fort Myers on the map. Honestly, at this particular conjecture, I can't go against the Green Wave. I'm rolling with Green Wave here over the Riverdale Raiders here in that one here. And so let's talk about this one here as we roll along here to the next part of 5A, the last part of Region 4. Region 4, the last part of 5A. Atlantic rolled over Mater Academy, 49-13. Miramar gets going against Heritage, 32-10. St. Thomas Aquinas blows out North Miami, 58-0. Sorry, Larry Bluestein, about your North Miami Pioneers. And Blanche Ely edges out Coconut Creek, 34-27, which puts Miramar at Atlantic and Blanche Ely at St. Thomas Aquinas. Boy, man, oh man. I feel like this bracket is headed for Atlantic St. Thomas Aquinas showdown, but let's start with Miramar. Thank you for playing Miramar, in my opinion. But Chris, where we go with Miramar? Familiar territory for you.
I like Atlantic to win this game. I know Milmar's got a great program there, but Atlantic's been on a roll all season long. So go Atlantic.
All right, Reno, where are we going? Are we going with the Eagles or are we going with the Patriots? Oh, wait a second. That sounded like it was an NFL pick there for a moment.
No, this one I'm going to go with Atlantic on this one. I feel that that their offense is just too strong for Miramar at this point.
No, absolutely. I feel like it's the same way. The offense and the defense for both Atlantic is really strong at this point, and it's just going to be too much for Miramar. So give me the Eagles at home here. And let's talk about the other side. Blanche Ely, the Tigers, going to play the Raiders of St. Thomas Aquinas. St. Thomas Aquinas, again, you see that blowout here, but St. Thomas, they've had 3 losses this year, but those 3 losses come to some very, very good quality competition. That would include Chaminade Madonna, American Heritage Plantation, and I believe the other one would be Bishop Gorman. So those 3 losses right there for St. Thomas Aquinas are nothing to sniff at. And Blanche Ely, hey, where's the common opponent here is Chaminade Madonna between St. Thomas Aquinas and Blanche Ely. Blanche Ely does have that week 2 overtime win over Chaminade Madonna, but again, St. Thomas Aquinas is no pushover, and let's talk about it. Chris, let's talk about this. St. Thomas Aquinas, Blanche Ely.
Oh, man. It's hard to pick this game because Blanche Ely's been on they've been on a really good roll this week, this in the last few weeks. Give me St. Thomas Aquinas, but it's going to be closer than people think.
Okay. All right. STA for Chris. Reno, where are you going?
Yeah, I'm going STA on this one. I agree. It's going to be a closer game, and I think it's going to be a defensive win on this one.
No, absolutely. Eric Daniels, Blanche Ely's beaten one team, and that would be Chaminade Madonna. That is the one team they have beaten, and that St. Thomas Aquinas has played. So, and but two Krazy says Atlantic versus St. Thomas Aquinas, and it says I don't know which Ely team is going to show up, so it depends. Ooh, I mean. And Reno, you're getting some props from Emery Williams-Smith there. Reno has made some very bold picks tonight. There's been a lot of interesting picks in the chat box tonight too, so that I wouldn't make. So
at least I own them. At least I own them in the long run.
There you go, and that's what I love that about Reno right there. He does own them, and I own my picks too sometimes. Atlantic and a dangerous STA team Noli is going with. So 5A bracket region 4 right there. All right, let's roll into 6A here, where we see Nice roll Tate 42-14, Oakleaf Edge Mandarin 17-14 in a controversial end to that game. Beelholtz goes up 42-0, lets Evans have 21 towards the end, but it's still no contest there. Beelholtz was the dominant team in that one, in that 2-7 game, and Pace rolls a veto 49-21. Sets up Oakleaf at Nice this week in 1-5 matchup, and then a 2-3 matchup. Beelholtz hosting Pace at Citizens Field. So here we go. Nice Oakleaf. All right. Colin Drass just got this. This team just keeps rolling and rolling and rolling. Reno, let's talk about Nice and Oakleaf.
I mean, if we want an upset of the week, it would be Oakleaf over Nice this weekend. That would be the one. Now, and that's what I want to see happen. But confidently, I think Nice will continue to pick Oakleaf off the tree and take the win. All
right, Chris, where are we going with this one?
I like Nice to roll in this game. Shout out to Oakleaf. They played a fine season. But, yeah, Nice easily.
Honestly, I can't go against Colin Draus here in this game. Nice is rolling good. I have a hunch feeling we're looking at a possible district rematch coming up in the regional final here, and we'll talk about that here in a moment, but I am sticking with Nice. Coach Ron decided to stay up and wait for this. Coach Manis says Nice versus Patriot, but Coach Ron says, I'll wait and reiterate. He is saying here, Nice runs the score up 52-17 as faces Beelholtz. Nate, okay. Hold on. Let's see here. All right, let's talk about it. Tony Manis should say Pace should be hosting. Crazy how string the schedule isn't using it. No, the string of the schedule is used, but it's at the end of the day, it's calculated over your whole entire body of work here. So, and by the way, I like to remind you about this one, and then this is what I like to remind people about it. Buchholz had a big win over Cardinal Newman in week 11. That was a 14-7 ball game. That greatly impacted and boosted Buchholz up in the rankings here. So I think like there's not enough credit being given to Buchholz for getting that win over Cardinal Newman, which boosted them up from a 3 to a 2. Even though they thought they were going to stay at a 3, that win was significant enough to boost them up to the 2. That's why there was a flip-flop right at the very end. I think if Buchholz had lost that game, Pace would have been 2, Buchholz would have been 3, no questions asked. So let's talk about this. Buchholz hosting Pace here in this 2-3 matchup. Boy, this is at Citizens Field. These two teams have had a little bit of a history in the playoffs. So let's just go back 2 years ago. Buchholz hosted Pace in the first round of the playoffs. Delayed by a day. That game was going to be at Citizens Field, but ended up being played at Newberry High after Hurricane Nicole came through unexpectedly 2 years ago. And these two teams are rematching here in the regional semifinals. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. In our own backyard, Reno here. Oh, man. Buchholz has played a really tough schedule, and I think that's the biggest difference here compared to – I mean, I'm not going to knock Pace here in terms of they've played some good competition, but Buchholz really stepped out of their own comfort zone this year. I mean, they played Cardinal Newman. They played a team – they played multiple teams outside of their region. I mean, we're talking about, okay, not just playing Cardinal Newman. They played Manatee. They went down to Vero Beach. I think this is where it pays off for Buchholz, honestly. And how are you feeling? Do you feel like the same way, or are we going out to Reno Island?
No, I'm with you on this one because Coach said it. I mean, he put his team in a hard position this year on the strength of schedule. They're road warriors this year. Most of their wins are on the road. So why not have a nice, comfortable game at home as long as they play tough? Buchholz at home.
All right, Chris, where are we going?
Yeah, Pace is a very good, very talented team. They deserve to be here. But as far as Buchholz goes, it's too much Trace Johnson and too much Justin Williams. Buchholz to roll in the game.
No, and yeah, I'm glad you bring up both Trace Johnson and Justin Williams. They have both been ballers this year for Buchholz. So it's not to say Ben Tyner for Pace has been doing really well too. So don't get me wrong that this is going to be a competitive game here. But at the end of the day, Buchholz, I feel like Buchholz, again, stepping bigger out of their comfort zone than compared to Pace. I feel like that is going to pay dividends here for Buchholz in this game. And plus, Pace has to make a 5.5 hour road trip here. So this is not going to be an easy road trip, especially when you've got to make a time zone change here across the Apalachicola River. And I know that I say that a lot, but time zone changes do play a factor for a lot of football teams in the state here when they have to make that time zone change coming from the Panhandle over to the east. And Big Fat Ironman says 29-2 at Citizens since 2021. He's absolutely correct. Buchholz has not lost at Citizens much at all over the last few years, and that includes mostly Mark Whittemore in that 1 year with Chuck Bell. And honestly, to me, this is just it's one of these games I am sticking with Buchholz at home for what I said behind the reasons why for that one. So let's roll into 6A Region 2 here, and let's talk about it. Oh, man, it's blowout city in this bracket here because Armwood 49-0 over Melbourne, Plant 45-7 over Bartow, Osceola 58-14 over Viera, and Durant 35-17 over Southlake. And as Noli gives us the picks from Nice and Pace in that one from the last part of the bracket, Region 1. Plant at Armwood and Durant at Osceola. Armwood won pretty solidly, handily in the regular season against Plant, and Osceola, boy, Durant. We'll talk about that one in a moment. But Plant and Armwood, usually a classic battle for these two teams who have a storied history. Chris, let's talk about it. Plant, Armwood.
Well, Plant and Armwood, man, what a battle. This could go either way. Give me Armwood. And Armwood played lights out this year. I don't see that changing in this game. But it's going to be closer than people think. But, yeah, Armwood at home.
All right, Reno, where are we going with this one? Plant or Armwood?
I think Armwood is going to show up with defense being at home, and Plant's going to have a hard time moving the ball up and down. Give me Armwood.
All right. Whereas Plant, they said there's been some talk. I talked to the head coach right before we were doing the show. I was going to try to get him on tonight, but he had another commitment. But he said the Plant people are already saying they're going to win by 13. So we'll see what happens here. Yep. Emery Williamson says, yes, Buchholz has played some pretty tough teams in this year, such as Manatee, if I remember correctly. Yep. Yes, they did. And as we get into this next game, Durant going to Osceola, where it is tough to play. The Cowboys with the K hosting the Durant Cougars. And Mark Cannon brings up, and yes, Durant lost his starting QB for the season in the South Lake game. So that could be really, really tough there for Durant going into that game against Osceola. But I don't know if that really is going to be a factor of matter here, because Osceola is just really playing some solid football. All right, Chris, let's start it off. Osceola, Durant.
I like Osceola in this game. Durant's a very talented team, but yeah, Osceola at home.
All right, Reno, where are we going? Cowboys with the K or the Cougars?
No, we're going to stick with Osceola on this one. I think the quarterback situation leaves the team in a little bit of limbo, and they just can't really bounce back at this point in the playoff.
Yeah, and after the way they dominated Vera, it just really kind of be like I think Armwood and Osceola are on a collision course to meet next week, and Osceola is just going to dominate Durant now, especially with the fact that Durant doesn't have their starting quarterback. I think that's even going to make it even tougher for Durant to get anything going against the Cowboys with the K. So Cowboys with the K at home here, and Gary Lawson is going with the Cowboys. To Crescell as Armwood looks real solid. Osceola over Durant. Nolly going Armwood and Osceola keep their victories on I-4. So there you go. All right. 6A Region 3 here, where we're going to talk about what's interesting here, because this is going to be a good matchup here when we're going to talk about it here in a moment. But West Boca rolls with Steinbrenner 42-7, Mitchell 29-7 over Parrish. Largo upsets Palmetto 28-24, and Wiregrass Ranch rolls over Royal Palm Beach 42-7. Mitchell 11-0 at West Boca Raton 11-0. So somebody is ending their season with an L. So, with that said, Reno, Mitchell, West Boca Raton. This is going to be a road trip for Mitchell to have to make all the way down to Palm Beach County.
This, like you said, someone has to lose. And I guarantee there will be a big loser in this one. But I'm going to take West Boca at home on this one, because, like you said, Mitchell on the road, I just don't see it happening.
Chris, what do you think?
West Boca has been really solid this year. I like West Boca not only to win this game, I think they're going to win the entire bracket.
Wow. All right. So West Boca potentially to get into the state semifinals this year. I am actually in agreement about West Boca. Let's look at the schedule they have played compared to Mitchell's. Mitchell, the strength of schedule. Some people are going to argue that they should have been ahead of Wiregrass Ranch in terms of the rankings, but if you look at it at the end of the day, boil it down, Wiregrass Ranch had a stronger strength of schedule, which kept them at a 3 seed versus Mitchell being at a 4. And this is going to be, I think this is going to be a long road trip for the Mitchell Mustangs. And West Boca Raton, they've been playing some really, really solid football. Dylan Potts, we had earlier this year on our Blitz shows. And honestly, I don't see anything changing here. West Boca heading to the regional finals here. And that's my pick as well. That said, Wiregrass Ranch hosting Largo, who basically pulled off a big upset in a 12 o'clock noon game on Saturday against Palmetto. But Wiregrass Ranch, Dylan Rose Bailey looking really solid for the Bulls here. Reno, let's start with you. Let's go with this.
Hey, I'm a fan. The ranch is real. I'm sticking with my motto. Wiregrass to take this all the way. And I'd love to get to one of those games to watch Wiregrass in person. I think it'd be awesome.
All right. As Stu Crazillo says, West Boca is very disciplined. Let's talk about Wiregrass or Largo for you, Chris.
Wiregrass Ranch is having a really special season. Largo, congrats to them on getting this far, but too much Wiregrass Ranch.
Yeah, and I agree with you. Wiregrass Ranch, Mark Cantor's got something very special cooking up there. Another coach that we have talked to this season. And as we go talk about Mark Cannon, said Mitchell may lose, but they're going to be a pain in the rear and a pain in the rear in the end. And but Noli, he's going west, Boca and Wiregrass, and Ron Bailey. It looks like the ranch. There you go.
The ranch.
The ranch is real.
The ranch is real.
All right. Let's roll into Class 6A Region 4. We are wrapping up 6A, and then we have one bracket left to go. All right, South Broward, Miami Southridge beating South Broward 37-6. Monarch edges Homestead in another controversial game, 28-21. Piper 33-14 over Doral, and West Broward 34-7 over Flanagan. And honestly, you look at this here, and you get a setup of Monarch at Miami Southridge at Southridge Stadium right next door to the high school for the 1-4 matchup, and then Piper hosting West Broward in the 2-3 matchup. And interesting enough, Chris, I'll start with you here. Miami Southridge and Monarch in this 1-4 matchup.
You know, Monarch, I like they got a good program there. We could give me Southridge because it's just way too much for Monarch to go play in Dade County like that.
All right, Southridge for Chris. All right, Reno, what are you thinking here?
This is a fun bracket. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is how it was structured to be. This is how it's meant to be. And I've picked against Monarch, and I feel they watch our show, and we motivated them. They keep pushing on to get to where they are. So I'm going to give some love to Monarch, and we're going to have the butterflies fly on over Miami.
Wow, okay. Reno's going out to Reno Island again for I don't know how many times tonight because bold pick there. And I'm going Southridge here. I think Southridge, they are just really strong here. And Southridge head coach Pearson Otis has really got this team really rocking and rolling here. And honestly, I can't say that, I mean, Monarch could, play a tight ball game. It could be a tight ball game. But I just got to stick with Southridge at home, basically. Home field advantage here. All right, let's talk about this next one here. We've got Piper and West Broward. West Broward at Piper. By the way, Chris, the game for West Broward and Flanagan was at Cypress Bay.
Yeah.
So
that was really surprising.
Yeah, and but I think it's to keep it as far away as possible from Flanagan having any home field advantage, and that's probably what they did. And sure enough, it worked to their favor, 34-7. So West Broward going to face a good Piper team, and Crazil says, I've been to a few Piper games this season, and that team is filled with studs on defense. No team has scored past 23 points on them, and I got the Bengals. So, Chris, two more teams, especially Piper, that you're familiar with here. So, Piper, yeah. Let's talk about them.
Piper, great program. West Broward, great program. Oh, man, this is going to be close. Give me West Broward in an upset.
Wow, okay. West Broward in an upset. Reno, are we rowing to the boat and we're going to join? Chris is going to join you in the island?
I'm coming over to Chris's island on this one. I like that pick. West Broward with the upset on this one. I think they're on a really good, strong roll. That defense is playing tough, and they can take Piper to the edge.
But you know what? I'm going Piper, guys. I'm going Piper, so I am not coming out to the island. gotta have a few little differences here, but as Tukerzil says, Monarch and Southridge is going to be real tough. Give me Southridge, and Noli is going Southridge and West Broward. So, Noli's joining you. Okay, there must be a lot of butterfly gardens on Reno Island from Mark Cannon. I
have no comment on that one.
This is so much fun, guys. Honestly, y'all have made it fun so far here tonight. We've got one bracket left to go here, and Tukerzil says Southridge versus Piper. So, okay. By the way, all these games that are going to be these potential matchups setting up for Thanksgiving weekend football. Thanksgiving next week. All right, 7-8.
You got the turkey gobblers coming up.
Yes, turkey gobblers indeed, a tradition that has been on FloridaHSFootball.com for years, and you can thank that man on the other side, Christopher Lyke, for that tradition starting over here in Florida. So we will have the turkeys in, and no turkeys are harmed in the creation of the turkey gobbler. So there you go. All right. Let's talk about this because we've had another controversial game decided potentially by the referees. It was the 36-35 game between Flagler Palm Coast and Spruce Creek. That saw Spruce Creek advance. The land, their season is done and over with. Lake Mary rolls them 49-14. Seminole edges Creekside 38-28. And the Orange City University 31-23 over Winter Park. All right. So this sets up Spruce Creek at Lake Mary and Seminole hosting Orange City University. And Reno, let's talk about Spruce Creek, Lake Mary, because Spruce Creek wins by 1 point.
Yeah, and I very close game. And again, I think there was some fairy dust that happened on that one because they won't see the same kind of style play out of Lake Mary this week, and Lake Mary is just going to take control of that game.
All right, you hear it from Reno there, Chris. Where are we going with it here? I have a feeling there's going to be a Noah Grubbs mention here somewhere.
Yeah, I think Lake Mary's going to win this thing handily. Spruce Creek's going to have that big old hangover from that Flagler Palm Coast, the Flagler Palm Coast game.
Yeah,
give me Lake Mary big time.
Yeah. I think Lake Mary here. Lake Mary, Noah Grubbs has just been really good. Noah Grubbs, he has just been playing lights out, and I think Noah Grubbs is only a junior here. So, boy, Lake Mary, what Scott Perry has been doing for Lake Mary, it's his alma mater. By the way, if it not known, Scott Perry played for the Florida Gators too. So there you go. There's that Gainesville connection stirring all over these playoff brackets.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I'm going to roll with Noah Grubbs, Lake Mary here in this situation in the 1-5 matchup. And then, of course, we go over to Seminole and Orange City University. These two teams have a little bit of history between district matchups and playoffs over the years. So, boy, this game at Seminole, boy. Let's start with Chris. Start with you on this one. So that's the Fighting Seminoles versus the Titans.
Well, Titans and Seminoles in this game. This is the well matched up game between these two teams. Give me Seminole at home just because they're at home.
All right, Reno. Where are we going?
No, I'm going with the same pick here. I think Seminole at home can control the game and control the clock.
And I agree with y'all. Seminole, it's gonna be about controlling the clock. It's also, I feel like the strength of schedule comes down to play here, and Seminole has definitely been prepared for that with their schedule this year. And I think that's going to be enough to why they're going to edge Orange City University here. And everyone says, when I keep hearing Reno Island, I keep thinking of Reno Nevada for some reason.
Because it's a gamble.
Okay. True Brazil says Lake Mary versus Seminole. Noli is going Lake Mary Seminole in this one. So, wow, I like it. All right, let's go into 7A Region 2 here, and let's talk about this here. Venice rolling all over Haines City 56-7 as we correctly predicted. Newsom edges out Sumner 34-27. Plant City 47-28 over Sarasota Riverview, and West Orange 20-19 in that 3-6 bracket, which sets up Newsom going to Venice in the 1-4 matchup, and Plant City hosting West Orange in the 2-3 matchup. Someone was asking about Plant City, why they're going to be on the road. No, Plant City is not on the road. Plant City will be at home because higher seed host, and Plant City was a 2, West Orange a 3. So, with that said, Newsom, Venice, I don't know if I really want to spend much time on this game because Venice has just been honestly, the 7A bracket, in my opinion, guys, is that in this situation is that this is Venice's game to basically, this is Venice's classification to lose, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. How do you guys feel? Let me start with Reno on this one.
No, I think you're right. I see Venice taking this bracket all the way through to the end. Not to give away my next pick, but I do see Venice taking this game and winning this bracket.
All right. Okay. All right. So Venice for Reno. Chris, let's go with this one. Newsom or Venice?
Yeah, I like Venice all the way through this bracket. There's not going to be any competition for Venice in this bracket.
No, and I agree with you. John Peacock's ball club, they're going to be rolling here. This one's probably going to be another 40, 50-point game. It's unedible here. I feel like this is total. It's going to be total domination by Venice with this bracket here, and that's just how I'm feeling here. So Venice at home in this one, and then let's go to Plant City West Orange here. Plant City hosting West Orange in this 2-3 matchup here. Plant City, they've been looking really, really good. One of their best seasons in a while here. And, boy, Chris, let's start with it. Plant City, West Orange.
This could go either way. I like West Orange in this game. Give me West Orange to upset Plant City on the road.
All right, Reno. Are we rowing?
Right.
Are we rowing?
I'm hang gliding on this one apparently because I do see Plant City overtaking West Orange, but going back to my original thing, I see Venice winning this over Plant City too. So,
all right, so I'm going with Plant City here just because I feel like it's just going to be come down to the home field advantage here. But if West Orange wins, it wouldn't shock me. But for either team, congratulations for the season you had, but you got Venice. You got Venice on the road for Thanksgiving dinner. So,
yep. Just get your plate to go.
Get your plate to go. Go through the drive-through and don't collect 200 when you pass go.
Mm-hmm.
That's honestly, Venice is going to be a tough out for anybody that faces them right now. I mean,
that'd be a good game to watch, though.
Oh, absolutely. It will definitely be a good game to watch for, in the end. And let's see. Let's roll this here. Let's roll with this one with these picks in the comments here. Tukerzil saying Lyke. Oh, I said we already that's roll. I think let me go back. There we go. Noe saying Venice and Plant City. Emory Williams says this. Not surprised one bit that Venice versus St. City score. Venice will win this region. And Mark Cannon says trying to visualize Reno hang gliding. Man, this is so much fun with these shows. I'm telling y'all, it is so much fun with the comments. It is so much fun. We just have a good time here, and that's what it's all about, having some fun while talking some serious business as well. But let's roll into this next bracket, Region 3. We got Region 3 and Region 4 left. Palm Beach Central, Fort Pierce Central. Palm Beach Central takes care of business 38-0. Vero Beach outlasts Lake Nona 21-7. Dr. Phillips 49-21 over Toho, and Jupiter takes out Treasure Coast 27-0. So Vero Beach at Palm Beach Central. Dr. Phillips will host Jupiter, and 3 of those teams in that bracket left are 10-1. So 3 of those teams have reached double-digit wins for the season. Let's start with Vero Beach and Palm Beach Central. Chris, let's start with this one. The Indians going to the Broncos.
This is probably one of the more interesting and entertaining parts of the 7A bracket. Give me Palm Beach Central at home.
All right. Reno, where are we going?
So far, Class 7A has been 1, 2, 3, 4 across the board. So with that, the trend will continue and give me Palm Beach to move on.
All right. Palm Beach Central to roll along. And I think Palm Beach Central is going to end Vero Beach's season here. And honestly, I feel like that's going to be what the case is going to be at the end of the day. And Palm Beach Central will roll in this game here, in my opinion. So on to the regional finals once more. Dr. Phillips in Jupiter. I thought, with Treasure Coast, I thought the strength of schedule was going to come and play in a hand, and they were going to get a victory despite the fact that they were 3-6 coming into this game. But Jupiter gave them and showed them the door 27-0. But Dr. Phillips is a whole nother animal here. Dr. Phillips, the Panthers have been playing really, really well. And I don't know if the Warriors have even played that type of schedule that Dr. Phillips has. I mean, Dr. Phillips, their quality win so far this year, beating Lake Mary. Okay, hands down, that is their best win of the season by beating Lake Mary. Their only loss to Edgewater. So, with that said, this could be really interesting. Chris, let's start with you on this one. Dr. Phillips or Jupiter?
I like Dr. Phillips. They much more talented team, and they've got the game at home. So, yeah, give me Dr. Phillips.
All right, Reno.
With this one, I think I'm going with the fan pick, and we all want to see that Palm Beach Central versus Jupiter game, so I'm picking Jupiter.
Wow, okay. All right. Bold. Is that a bold move? Is that a
That's a
bold
bold
move?
pick, Cotton. That's a bold pick, Cotton.
That's a bold pick, Cotton. You're watching ESPN 8 the Ocho. Hey,
We go out on a log, not a limb.
not a limb. It's Noli saying the PBC and Dr. Phil is Palm Beach Central versus Jupiter. Jupiter's real good this year. Oh, okay. So, okay, there's some company there.
And shout out to Tukerzilli because I did say fan pick. I saw that in there, and I appreciate you. So fan pick on that one as well for that. So
no, absolutely. As a cat is back to make some picks, another cat is back to make some picks with Chris. I'm going Dr. Phillips here. It's going to be tough to win for Jupiter at the Spoon, so at Bill Spoon Stadium. So that's where I will leave it at that one, and I say Dr. Phillips will beat the Warriors in this game. And then last but not least, Region 4, where actually it's not so much the 1, 2, 3, 4 show in this region. It's more like the 1, 3, 5, 7 show here with the evens out and the odds in. So, boy, Columbus 56-8 over Spanish River. This really rolled there. South Dade rolls Santa Lucia's 48-13. Western 26-10 over Miami Palmetto. And Boca Raton outlast Goldman 27-21 in overtime. So the odd numbers are here, and that's just the way it's going to be for this bracket for the rest of the playoffs. All right, let's start with South Dade Columbus. Chris, here we go.
Boy, where to begin with this bracket? Give me Columbus to win against South Dade. South Dade, traditionally, they've been a very solid program year in, year out through the last few decades. But, yeah, Columbus is give me Columbus at home.
Wow. All right. Reno.
This one comes down to defense. Who can hold the ball and protect the pass? But I think Columbus pulls out the win.
Wow. All right. I'm going with the defending state champions here, Columbus, who has won it the last 2 years straight in Class 4M. And but this year, I don't think Columbus is going to win a state title this year. I don't think that's going to happen. They're going to get to the regional finals, in my opinion. They'll win this one. But if that team is Western on the other side of the bracket, come next Friday, potentially Friday afternoon, could be an early Friday afternoon game, depending on for Black Friday. I would say all bets are off that Western don't come out of this bracket. Because, and I'll tell you why in a moment when we get to that game. But Columbus will win, but this is not the same Columbus team that we've seen the past 2 years. So that's where I'm going to stick with it. So let's talk about it. Western, Boca Raton. We pointed out this was a game to watch last week. We pointed it out on the Drive the State show when the brackets came out. We talked about it again on Tuesday night last week. Western, I felt like Western was going to have a good chance of knocking off Miami Palmetto once again in the first round. They sure enough did, 26-10. Western's 7 seed. It's really just a number. It's really Western should be a higher seed because of the 2 forfeits. It kind of knocked them down here. Honestly, strength of schedule. When we talk about Boca Raton, I mean, at the end of the day, I feel like the strength of schedule is the biggest factor here. And let's talk about Western Boca Raton. Reno, go with you first to finish this off.
Western's showing a lot of heart right now coming into this playoff, but Boca Raton's had that kind of magical season at the same time. I think I'm going to go with the upset. I'm going to think Western's going to outrank Boca on this one.
All right, Chris, where are you going with this one? Wildcats or Bobcats?
The 7 seed is a very misleading number. Western's had a fantastic season. Boca Raton's had a fantastic season. Give me Western by maybe 2 touchdowns over Boca Raton.
And absolutely. And I'm going Western as well. I feel like it's the strength of schedule comes down to it for Western. And I feel like that is going to be a significant difference. I feel like Western would have been like a 3 or even a 2 seed in this region had they not been knocked down with 2 forfeits. And that said, I feel like they're going to take care of business against Boca Raton, and they're going to get that game against Columbus, who they would love to play for a trip to the state semifinal. And with that said, Noli says odd numbers in Columbus Western with the upset at home. So there you go to round out the picks here for the Drive the State here. Yes, we have gotten to the end of the brackets here, and next week will be even fewer games when we come back next Tuesday night, 2 days before having our feast of turkey and ham and all the fixings for Thanksgiving. So, any final thoughts, guys? I didn't make my picks. Crystal. Mark, you're awesome, man. You're awesome. We appreciate you. Definitely. Noli says thank you for a great show, Josh, Christopher, and Mike. Appreciate you. No, thank y'all for watching.
Everyone. Thank you.
Thank y'all for watching. Any final thoughts, gentlemen?
Yeah, shout out to all those teams playing this getting this far, and please, if you have an opportunity, get that game on Thanksgiving night.
Oh, absolutely. Reno, any final thoughts?
Hey, I enjoy all the coaches who come out and support and listen to us, give Josh the support. And, we just want to do the best for you out there, and good luck in the playoffs. Let's go get these wins.
No, absolutely. And again, if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, that's at Florida HS Football. Hit that subscribe button. There's also, if you're watching this afterwards, there's a super thanks. You can hit that if you like what we're doing and you want to support us. That's how you do it through the YouTube partner program. When we're doing our live shows, there's what we saw earlier from Mark Cannon, the super stickers. We have those for any amount that y'all want to do. Again, that's on the YouTube partner platform, and we appreciate everybody joining us here on the Drive the State show here, and we're gonna call it a night here, wrap it up. I think dinner's calling my name here somewhere in the process, but it's 0-0 on the clock. Appreciate it. For my co-host, Mike Reno, my other co-host, Associated Christopher Lyke, I'm Joshua Wilson of FHSAA Appreciate everybody. We'll see you next Tuesday night and for midnight, too. Yeah, yes. We appreciate everybody. We'll be back next Tuesday night for the Drive the State show here on FortHSFootball.com. Good night and good luck to all the teams this week in the regional semifinals or the regional finals in the World Classification. Good night.